Hello, everyone, and welcome back to WOR Tier 2 on the PC side here for Round 5 at Hungary. I'm Nathan Richards, or you probably know me better as Richie, but no Sappy again, so yet again we've got Joshua Birch alongside. Hello, Josh.
Hello, pleasure to be here. And I was just fiddling around with my game stream as well, just so I can have some different music in the background because I'm getting bored of the F1 theme. But hello, pleasure to be here. And it's going to be a lot of fun, this one as well in
Definitely,
Hungary. It's a tight, twisty circuit. It'll be a good one.
it will. It's one of my favourite tracks because it's a very old track as well, isn't it? In the terms of the style, it's a bit like Zandvoort, I suppose you could say as well. You know, you've got to be very careful around here because it's very easy to lose the car, especially that middle sector and coming through into turn 4. So this will be a struggle for drivers. Also, you got turn 2, which is a little bit like reverse of Brussels, isn't it? At Spa, you've got to be very careful on the brakes going into this so you don't lock up. We've seen many lockups there in the past in real F1 and in league race in the past. And then the final sector, it's not too bad. You just got to be careful of the stone curbs. So it should be a
Yeah.
pretty interesting race, especially with the grid we've got today.
Indeed, and if it's wet out there, as it could be, those stone curbs you're on
Yeah.
about as well become so slippery. Even on the F1 game, they are so treacherous as well.
Yeah.
Conditions at the Hungary, you can't really overtake. The third sector here is pretty much a straight line. So you've got to be creative when going for the overtakes,
Yeah.
and we're going to be in for an absolute cracker. I cannot
Definitely.
wait to see this one. And the drivers just loading up as well.
Mhm.
After Spa last week, which was very, very
Mhm.
exciting, this could be even better.
It could. And before we go through the standings, I just want to talk through the grid. So today we got, if it's all as it should be, we got Sergio Sabrino and Lars in the Mercedes. Then we got Tony Richet and Leroy Brown in the Red Bull. Tom Martinez and Mark Schluter in the Ferrari. Harvey Cohen and Philip Says from the McLaren. Gianpietro Aggiano and Cameron Dowds in the Alpine. Nicola Leda, who's new, and Simon Lekomsky in the AlphaTauri. Daniel Yelton and Bogdan Moldovan in the Alfa Romeo. Yannick Schmidt and Corne de Backer in the Aston Martin. JSD, Camel Statura in the Williams. And then finally, Bas Palmer and Harlan Marquis in the Haas, which is a very competitive grid. We've seen a lot of these guys come from different leagues. Obviously, I don't think we've seen Aleda and Harlem yet race here, but we've seen them race in multiple other places.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a nice one to see them
Mhm.
come in and
Yeah.
really. We know they've been racing other places, so they know some of the drivers in this league as well, racing in other leagues that they do. So everyone's got a little bit of a knowledge on everybody, and
Definitely.
that's what we love about the sim racing community is that nobody comes in a complete stranger.
No.
Everybody at least knows who you are and is familiar with you, and it creates this really lovely positive
Mhm.
attitude of. Oh, brilliant! You're here this week.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Nice to see you.
Mhm.
And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
It will be interesting to see if they can qualify in the top 10,
It
though.
will. But then we're going to have a look at the standings. As you can see, Harvey Cohen, he's leading just over 19 points over Yannick Schmidt. He's obviously got the 2 wins in a row, and he also got the sprint race win at Baku, so that puts him on 3 wins, 2 race wins, 1 sprint race win. And you can see Daniel Yeltsin, he was actually championship leader after round 2, but he had his DNF in Baku. But then luckily he got his podium in round 4 at Belgium. That's put him back up to 3rd in the standings. Cameron Dow's doing a really good job at 4th. He hasn't got a win, but he's still in that top 4. Same as Yannick Schmidt. He hasn't got a win, but he's 2nd. So the fight is really on between Yannick and Harvey, I think. I think if Daniel and Cameron, and maybe even Leroy Brown, can get some more lucky races in the future, they can definitely be in the championship fight. Obviously, yeah, we've still got about 8 races left. There's a lot to do, but, you know, sometimes you can see the people who tend to pull away at the start tend to be the ones fighting in it for the end. And then we look down at the constructor standings and we can see McLaren leading by 18 points. Obviously, Philip hasn't been able to help McLaren out too much, only scoring 12 points for them. But it's all, you know, all the help can be great for the team. And obviously, Alpine have done pretty well. They've got 74 points combined, so they're in 2nd. And then you look at the bottom, you can see Aston Martin still 0 points. And then Ferrari, Mercedes, both on 2 points down at 8th and 9th.
Oh, yeah, I was really just looking at that one. Look at Corey de Backer as well. DNF'd in every
Hmm.
single round so far this season, the Aston Martin as well.
Yeah.
It has not been a good start for him
Hmm.
at all. But Harvey Cohen, look at that. Winner in Baku, won the sprint race in Baku as well. And then also won in Spa-Francorchamps. He's done a double, but
Hmm.
effectively a triple, Richie. So he's
Yes.
really going to be one to watch to see if he
Hmm.
can win here in Hungary because that's then 3 very different style of track:
Hmm.
a fast street circuit, a fast permanent circuit and then a slow
Yeah.
permanent circuit. So
Yeah.
if he's good at these three, then he's going to be in contention for the championship straight away. May as well even be the champion, even though we've got 8 races left. He'll be so fast off the
Yeah.
board.
I think definitely going into the season, I think we all knew that Harvey was going to be one looking for the championship. You know, he's one of the drivers that doesn't give up. And you can see when he puts the time in, we've seen back in PSGL a few months back, when he puts the time in, he can really, really get on that pace and be ahead of everyone. So I think, you know, it'd be a bit silly to say he won't be in the championship fight at the start. So, you know, I think we all expect him, he'll be in it. But the question is, can he win it? You know, he could DNF today, and that could give Yannick Schmidt the lead of the championship. That, you know, that can then completely change things going into the last few races. But now it's time to have a look at the track where we're racing today.
Yep, and it's the Hungaroring in Budapest. In 1986, it was the first race behind the Iron Curtain. 2.738 miles, 14 turns, just one DRS zone down the start-finish line. Run up towards turn number 4, it's flat out as well. Then the second sector of this track as well. You can see as we highlight up on the map where sector 2 is. Very fast, sweeping right and left-handers at a single file. Last sector, 2 right-handers, then in a left hairpin as well. Turn 14, very similar to what we see at the Nürburgring as well. It sweeps down the start-finish straight, and it is a very fast circuit. Turn 1 as well. If it's wet, we've seen what it can happen as well with a kamikaze effect. It's going to be a cracker, Richie. Really looking forward to this. And qualifying as well is always where we see more of the grid. That is the final race results than anywhere else on the calendar.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Hungary is probably one of my favourite tracks, and it's the same as I also love Imola and Zandvoort. I've always preferred the old style tracks. You have tracks like Silverstone, but they've been more modernised. Imola is pretty much the exact same. Even since Senna, it's been, you know, near enough the same. Same as Zandvoort, that's had minor changes, same as Hungaroring, just for safety reasons. But in general, they've kept that old style, which tracks like Spa and Silverstone haven't really done. They've gone for more of a modernised layout.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the only change. Oh, what's happening with the lobby? Lost 10 drivers.
Yes, we have.
So that's not great. I'll have a quick look at the Discord to see if they've said anything about it. Well, yeah, the circuit was modified, of course, back in about 2003, but that just removed a pointless chicane in the third sector because it didn't do anything, and it was limiting overtaking. So they removed it, and then just kept the last 2 corners, and it improved overtaking tenfold as well. So it's some good ideas and some nice ideas. Just having a quick look, Harvey Cohen, I think, was. He said bleep bleep bleep, but Luke said someone's in the wrong car. So I think there's the new lobby because they're all in the wrong car. Oh. So they're in the wrong cars and they can't change them while they're in that lobby. So we've got to exit that lobby and go into another. That is a delay to qualifying that we weren't expecting to have to fill.
Yeah, definitely. There we go. We've got everyone in. So get me started spectator mode. There we go. Everyone's in the correct cars. I can't see anyone different to what I mentioned earlier. So I think everyone who was meant to be racing definitely is. Look at the chat. Cameron's dad says, "Let's go, son." Hello, boys. Hello, Cameron's dad. Welcome in.
Hello.
And then Leonard says, "The goats." Hello, hello, Leonard, and you're one of the goats as well.
I'm so glad that Cameron's here because he was on my coverage of the Formula 2 race, sorry, the Formula E race on Saturday, but I can't remember if I actually mentioned him on air. So I just wanted to say hello. Thanks for being there during the weekend because I was running on 1 hour, 50 minutes of sleep covering that Formula E race, and I completely was forgetting everything. So if I hope I didn't miss you out there.
Yep, but today, Cameron's dad. Where do you think Cameron will finish? Because you said last week he'll get on the podium. I said, well, he's starting in 7th. It's going to be unlikely. But he did get up to 2nd. So if you're in here today, what's the guess? Are you going to go for a podium? Are you going to go for a win? You know, you're going to strike lucky again?
I hope Cameron's dad does say it's a race win. I think Cameron's definitely got it in the bag that he can have a race win as well. But I wouldn't bet out on Harvey, to be fair, in that McLaren.
Definitely.
I really wouldn't. He's going to be one to watch. And we're just getting ready. 18 cars now in the lobby, not counting me and Richie, of course, because we're spectating. Yep. So 19 of the 20. So we're nearly ready to go green. Yep.
Cameron's dad says win. Who won last race? The first race was JSD. Second race at Kotak was Daniel Yeltsin. Third race was Harvey. The sprint race was Harvey at Baku, and then obviously the last race was Harvey as well. So he's got double wins. If you count sprint races as a win, then 3. So we could make it 4 today. And Hungary's. Then again, it is a difficult track, so we could see someone come out the blue. You know, I definitely don't want to call. I definitely don't want to leave out Leroy Brown. You know, he's definitely one of the quickest. We've seen him, and he's normally quite a consistent driver. You see some drivers that will struggle at certain tracks, but Leroy's generally around the same pace most places. And you've also got Simon Komsky, who's doing really well in Belgium. You look further down, you've got Yeltsin, who's definitely in fight for the championship. Yannick Schmidt as well. He's second in the championship. So there's so many drivers here who have the capability to win, but it's all about who can do it in qualifying, especially on this track. Qualifying, I would say, matters more than anything here because it's obviously you can get an overtake down to turn 1. Sometimes you can even get an overtake down into turn 2, but it's so difficult to do, and it's such a big risk to take. Is it worth it? You know, if you go into turn 2, you've both got to. You look at Spa, you see so many crashes there down at down at Brussels, and it's pretty much an identical corner, just left instead. Yeah. So the question is, do people want to risk it and end up binning it there? Because if one up the inside locks up, it can be, it can all be over and done with. We saw it. I think who was it? Who was it? No, was it Daniel Ricciardo and Lance Stroll in 2022? I think who crashed there.
Top of my head, I believe you're right. Yes, I'm remembering it back. So many things happened last year. It's quite hard to remember. But yeah, I seem to remember Stroll and Ricciardo coming together at some point in the season.
It's one of the only tracks we can say, oh, Hamilton and Verstappen didn't collide. Because Bottas already did that job for Hamilton.
I think you're right there. I can't. Well, they had the double running, didn't they? 2018 and 19, we had the pit late for Verstappen taking the lead away, and then Hamilton redid it in the next year.
Yeah,
we had that, but I think you're correct. As qualifying is going to go green finally.
Well, 20 seconds.
But this circuit is a demanding one, and it was a scene of in 2022 where Verstappen spun, dropped down to 13th, still won the race.
13th? No, it was third. He lost a couple
no, he started 13th on the grid.
Oh wait, did he start 13th? I don't remember.
Yeah, an engine penalty.
See, because I like Verstappen, I'll probably try to forget about that moment. Just cut it out of my mind. But we're getting ready for
a long day.
Gonna hope it all loads up quickly. It doesn't seem to want to load. There we go. We'll be getting shortly. Obviously, me and Josh, we did some coverage over a league a few weeks ago back here for a qualifying session, didn't we? And it was great. Qualifying's always great here. We should expect to see drivers. I'll probably say I don't really know, but maybe the high 14s, mid 14s at most. I don't really know what the times around here, but yes, opinion about the car liveries, Leonard. Well, apart from the fact most of them all look the same, apart from the Alfa Romeo, which looks really nice. I just don't like how every car has got the secondary colour as black.
Yeah,
but then again, isn't that due to like the weight on the paint and things like that?
Yeah, we had 798 kilograms is the maximum weight for Formula One cars. Yeah. Then that got dropped this year to 795.
Yeah.
So that's 3 kilograms lost. Mm-hmm. But the FIA have now rectified that by saying, no, we're not going to drop those 3 kilograms now. The maximum weight's going to be 798. Which means the teams have done these weight-saving liveries.
For it to be changed.
Last second. So I'm expecting to see more colour on the cars as the season begins. Like, I think nice. Bahrain, we might see, in testing, we might see them a bit naked in the first 2 races. But like when we get to Australia, I think the cars might start to have a bit more colour at them towards the back.
I'll be honest. I don't know who Stefano Samson is.
Stefano Samson.
He's in 4th. Yeah. I don't know who that is. Could you try and find out for me, please, Josh?
VFR.
Because hang on,
FDR,
yeah, it's changed because on my list I've got Nicola in the AlphaTauri. He's in the Ferrari. I mean the McLaren. So I think there's been some changes.
Yeah, VFR Steph is in the AlphaTauri on the grid. Yeah, it's a new change.
I know who he is, Steph. Yeah, I know who Steph is. Oh, okay. I just don't know his full name, but I know you're at FER Steph. Yeah, I know who he is.
Yes.
But we'll go on board with FER Steph. Stefano Samson. We'll go on board with him now as he's coming into the 6-7 chicane. Horrible chicane, and you've got to get it right. You've got to be careful with them curbs. They are absolutely death
Yeah.
if you hit them in the worst way. Going through into 8, 9, and 10. I really like the track because if you can get it right, it's so smooth and it's so flowy, so satisfying to watch if someone can get a really good lap in.
But one mistake and you're throwing your controller and banging your steering wheel and breaking your pedals, and it's like you just want to rage quit massively.
Definitely. But we're going to go on board with Stefano for the first lap round here, as he's just coming round the final corner on his out lap, and he's just going to come out turn 14, get the DRS open as he goes full throttle down towards turn 1. You can see him just coming down past the pit lane now. Actually, I think it's one of his auto teammates just ahead as he comes in towards turn 1, going on board, brakes at the 50-metre board, chucks the car in on the exit. Because you have high downforce, you can put your foot down near enough straight away as he now charges down in towards turn 2, the long left downhill off-banked corner. He's got to be careful he doesn't lock up, which he does perfectly. Sticks it in 4th, now shifts up to 5th into turn 3 now. Just a sweep to the left, sweep to the right. He's now going to come up to turn 4. The uphill sweep to the left. You're going to be very careful you don't invalidate or hit the curb, which he does really nice there. Now into the uphill turn 5. You'll be very careful. Gets on the pole nice and early. Hits the apex. Now in towards 6, 7 chicane. You've got to be careful here as well. Hops the one curb, misses the other, gets on the apex, a little bit of a twitch on the exit, now in towards turn 8, and in towards turn 9, you can see hitting the curbs after a bit of a lift there, is invalidated down at turn 10.
Yeah, and goes, that's what we were talking about just a second ago, Richie. One mistake on these laps cost you, as we've got Camille's gone fastest on a 1:15.6. Now, Nicola Adela goes top with a 1:15.5, 1:15.456, sorry, as Courtney DeBacca goes second.
Okay,
look at Gina Petro, Oregano goes top, 1:15.174.
Really
wow,
nice.
These times are getting quick.
Definitely. I'm over with Daniel Yeltsin now, just coming in towards turn 12, now in towards turn 13. Another difficult part, 13. You're going to be careful you don't hit the curb. The Komsky goes second, a 15.3. And Cameron Des goes third. But we're now going to be watching Daniel Yeltsin up towards the line. What time does he set? Does he get provisional pole here? No, he doesn't. Goes third with 15.325. Going to go and have a little look down at Yannick Schmidt. Oh, Harlem second.
Yeah, jumped to second, 1:15.294. As here's Yannick Schmidt coming through that section of the track that everybody hates.
Yep. Purple middle sector, 53.9 split. Let's see what he can do. Is Yannick Schmidt able to take provisional pole off of Argiano? He's still got a provisional pole of over a 10th, 1.2 tenths exactly. And that is, I think it was... Stature has dropped down to 9th already. You can see the time's really tumbling down. He's invalidated. I think it was at turn 13.
Last corner.
Yeah, big shame. Rob Body JSD, he's just coming in towards turn 2. He had a winning bit wide there, but we'll keep on board with him as he comes through turn 3. Now charging up to the end of sector 1 in towards turn 4. Yet again, horrible place. He's got the purple sector 1 with the 27 flat. Very nice from JSD now. Obviously won the first race, led the championship, but unfortunately, he's spun!
He's lost it! Oh, got on the curb. That was such a quick loss as well. I think that he got that curb right on the rear tyre, and he just spat him into the wall, and it's damaged everything. Yeah, that's such a shame. He was on it for a good time. He got turn 4 perfect across the cut. That's such a shame.
He's going for a really perfect lap. Sergio Sabrino goes up to 12th. We'll go down to Tony Richet, who's in the Red Bull. He's just coming through turn 12 now in towards 13. Obviously, Argiano still leading by over a 10th, so he's had a really good first lap. And Cameron Day's in 5th, so LP not doing too shabby at all the first part of this qualifying session. But Tony Richet now into the final corner, turn 14. Let's see what Tom E can get on the board. In the Red Bull, his teammate in 12th. Where does he go? Up to 12th. Gets Leroy Brown. Leroy Brown down in 13th. That's not the best start for him at all on his banker lap. Mark Schluter just currently coming in towards turn 13 in the Ferrari. Not had the best season so far. Not managed to score many points. Only, I think, 12 on the board. But we're on board with him now into turn 14. Let's see what Tom E can get on the board. Up towards the line. Goes 10th with a 15.566. Very nice there. Puts him into the top 10. His teammate Tom Martinez in 8th as well. So not too bad starting for the Ferraris.
Very good time there. Enjoyed that one. 1:15.566. So that's a big improvement on him. But a 1:15.174 from Gianna Petro. Fantastic on those tires as well.
Really nice.
And he's at least he's a 10th. He's 0. So he's he's 1.30.
1.2 tenths.
Yeah. So that's insane. Absolutely insane.
But Nicola Lauda, he's just coming through into turn 4 in his out lap. Second out lap. Everyone's going back out for the next lap now. and we'll be able to see what they can do in this session. But Elena currently 7th. He's raced in a few leagues before. I think he's more one of the newer ones. I think he started racing PSGL last season. I'm not sure about WOR, but he's definitely one of the newer guys compared to some of the names we got in here. So it's nice to see some more newer people come through. Maybe he has been on here before, but with a different name, or he didn't race in the big leagues. I'm not sure, but I definitely haven't seen his name that often in these past few months until as recent. But he's just coming in towards turn 12 now. In the McLaren, obviously Philip Sace are not able to race here today, which is a big shame. But coming through into turn 13, he'll be getting ready to start his second flying lap. Josh, if you'd like to take us through it.
Oh, thank you. We're riding with him. Coming out the last corner, takes a wide line as well to get maximum acceleration. Open up the DRS as well, using slight deployment of the ERS battery power. 8th gear as late as he possibly can, so he can carry as much into the braking zone as possible. Drop down 4th gear, ride the entrance curb as well. 2nd DRS activation, allow the car to lightly accelerate downhill. Flick the car in towards turn number 3 as well. Double apex corner, so you've got to really hug the middle of the track as well. Flick into 4 and up the hill once again. Now, this is where you lose time. If you cut the corner too much, you invalidate it. If you go wide, it spits you out like that, and he's lost the lap time. Just too much errors.
If you look at the throttle inputs, is Nicola on controller? Because I've noticed his inputs seem very controller-like, but I'm not quite sure. I don't know. But Cameron Dowds coming through into... Oh, he's invalidated down. Camel Saturap goes quickest, 15 flat. Really nice lap from him there. On his second lap, we're going on board with Daniel Yeltsin, who's just currently coming through turn 5, just getting the way of Cameron Dowds there. As he comes in towards the turn 6-7 chicane. Let's see what Daniel Yeltsin's able to do. Obviously, we've been looking one of the quicker drivers, had a really bad race at Baku. They brought it back up a bit more at Belgium with his podium. Simon Komsky goes second fastest. Leroy Brown goes third. Just 6 thousandths ahead of John Pietro Aguiano. Aguiano's in the pits now, so he's obviously failed his second run, which is a big shame. Still on board with Yeltsin now. Can he get himself into that top 5? Currently 6th place.
That was perfect through turn 13, Richie. Downshifted at the same time of braking. Saved him a lot of time.
Yeah, coming through the final corner now. Turn 14 on the exit towards the line. Goes 5th. Puts himself into the top 5 barely. According to backup, having a really nice qualifying session as well. Up in 8th. Cameron Dowds,
though, Jensen,
I believe he's starting a lap now. Yes, he is. We'll go on board with Cameron Dowds as he comes in towards turn 1.
Hard on the brakes, 4th gear, flick the car in, as we were mentioning earlier on. He's taken a wider line as well compared to most drivers. Back up to 6th gear. What does he do through turn number 2? Double apex, remember, so keep the car towards the middle. He's aced that one. Flick the car, uphill now. Now, remember what I was talking about before we had the invalidated lap time before? Take this one perfectly. It's like threading the eye of a needle. Straight through, round turn 5, another concrete curb. The cars can spit you up as well on the exit curbs. I hate this corner, the 6-7 chicane. It's so narrow and tight. Now through the Mickey Mouse section as well, literally one line. It's like you're on a tightrope and it's in the middle of a hailstorm and the wind is blowing and you're just trying to keep yourself still. Out of turn 12, drop down towards now into 13. He's up by 1/10 of a second. Hard on the brakes, down to 4th gear. A lot of curb as well. Doesn't invalidate. Now, this is one of my favourite 2 corners in Formula 1. It's all about just hugging the lines, gradually touching the power. It's about precision and keeping the car stable. Now put the power down full throttle, ride the exit like it's the last corner on the ball, and he's done it up to 4th position on a 1:15.148. Right. And hello to Jess.
Hello, Jess. Welcome in. I was going to mention one thing. Harvey Cohen, on his second run, went back into the pits. So he's done one run, he's 16th on the grid. 16th. That's when we said 16th with Lewis Hamilton at Saudi Arabia last year.
Yeah, that's true. Barely got out qualifying number 1.
The only difference is he wasn't leading the championship then. But Sergio Sabrina, we're going to go aboard with him now. He's currently down in 20th. He'll be beginning his first lap soon also. There's a bit of a collision there with the McLaren and the Ferrari down at turn 5. It looks, 6 and 7, it looks like it, but I couldn't see. But we're on board with Sergio Sabrina. He's just coming into the final corner. Currently down at 20th with a 15.6. If he wants to even get a chance again, he's got to improve by 6/10. So he's got a lot of work to do in the remainder of this session. And it's just over 7 minutes left, so most roles will be able to get 2 or 3 more runs out, depending on what their tyres and all things and strategies alike. But still on board is Sergio Sobrino in towards turn 2. He's going to shift down to probably 4th. There we go. Hooks it to the inside, back up to 5th, gets back on the power nice and early. Now in towards turn 3. It's a really satisfying corner, but you can see people spin there. I think it was Fernando Alonso had a 360 there last year at 2022 Hungary. And then through turn 4, in towards turn 5. Now purple set to 1 for Sergio Sobrino. Very, very nice. Now you can see riding the curb up at turn 5, in towards 6 and 7 at the chicane. He's got to make sure he can get this perfect so he doesn't lose time. Rides the exit curb on the exit at turn 7. Now into 8. Now into 9. And like you said, it is really like you're being pulled by a tightrope through this whole section here. Now coming into turn 11, the final corner of the sector 2. Let's see. He's 3.5 tenths up. That's good enough so far to put him in that top 10. Now into turn 12. Very nice. You can see Ron the curb on the exit. Into 13 now. He's got to be careful not to touch too much of the concrete curb, which he doesn't do. Really nice. Now in towards the final corner. Let's see what time he can go onto the board.
Pushing hard. Exits. DRS open. 20th at the moment. Jumps up into 9th. 1:15.220. That's a very decent improvement there. And Sergio, we know he can do better.
Yes.
So he knows he can do better. So he will be on it for the race itself.
Yeah, definitely. But we're on board with Harvey Cohen now. Was he just coming through in towards turn 2?
What's going on with him?
At the moment. Yeah, it's not good, is it? That's what I said. We just say Harvey doesn't improve on this lap, or he spins or something, or loses time. He's starting 19th. He's not going to get very far up to the top of the grid, is he? But we're staying on board with him as he comes in set to 1. He's down by 5,000. So obviously, set to 1, 27 flat is really nice. So it's obviously that middle and the third sector where he's losing time. He's got about, to get into the top 10, he's got a 10th.5 to gain. Oh! That's...
The pole sitter!
That could be a lobby restart, possibly. He goes pole, improves to a 15.023. According to that there. That could be a possible restart. Not quite sure what happened with Bogdan, but Bogdan's not having the best of luck at all, is he? And Harvey Cohen, 2 tenths up, purple middle sector. This is where he's lost time. Now he's going to try and gain even more time in the final sector, and he can get himself at the moment into that top 10. He wants to put himself at least in that top 5. Harlem, 5th with a 1:15.1. Let's see if Harvey can get past that time. Into the final corner now, perfect on the throttle, up towards the line. Where does Harvey go? 4th.
Nice job,
Lekomsky. Into the final corner now. 8,000 up through that middle set. So let's see. Can he take pole off Kamil Stachura? Yes, he can. A 14.927. First driver into the 14s.
That was insane lap time. Fantastic. So, I cannot believe that he's... Oh, and then he's lost it in the first corner. He's done 360. Okay, well, he's done something similar.
Stefano just coming through the final turn 13 into 14. One half tower at the top, one half tower at the bottom. Let's hope Stefan can change that and get himself into that top 10. Yes, Red Bull are in the middle. Well,
that's the line.
15th.
Okay, 15th.
Aleda's back into the pits again. His second and third run, both ruined. So he's down in 19th, which is a big shame. We've got Daniel Yeltsin into P2, 1,000th behind Simon Akowski there. Really, really nice. Harlan Marquis up into P4, so that now means Harvey Cohen down to 6th. So it's not the worst in the world, but he's definitely got to do some improvements on that final lap to get himself hopefully into the 14s. We could possibly see someone into the 14.8s, 14.7s if they can get the run in. But Ferrari not having a good day again. They're on 2 points in the championship, 8th. And they're currently running 18th and 20th, with Tom on a 15.465 and Mark Schlichter on a 15.429. Tom Martinez, however, he's on an outlap, so we'll go on board with him now.
Yeah, I thought Harvey might be going for a second run, but he was low on fuel, so he's coming to the pit lane. He'll just get another lap in, but it's going to be a tight turnaround.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, you've got to give it to Argiano, 9th, and he's only set 1 lap.
Yeah,
because he messed up his second one. So he'll be going out now, get an early run, get himself possibly into that top 5. He looks like he had the pace, especially on his banker. Oh, Tom lost it a little bit there. At least we didn't, I think it was Kota, race 1 or 2. And he went into the back of, who's it now? He went into the back of, I think it was Yua or something like that. I can't remember his name fully. Went into the back of him down at turn 11. He was looking at his chat on stream and didn't see the car ahead. Luckily, there's not much space for error like that round here. It's more of you going into a wall more than a car.
Monaco without the barriers, they call this place,
well,
but they've got more barriers.
Definitely not far off. We could probably say this is Imola without the elevation.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, actually, you're right. Yeah.
Well, there is elevation, but it's not as drastic. But Tom Martinez will be starting his final fly lap now as he comes in towards turn 14.
First race behind the Iron Curtain, of course, this Hungary race back in 1986. Which is weird considering where Austria is in Europe. So where Hungary is in Europe, right next to Austria. It used to be Austria-Hungary.
Did indeed. But Sam Martinez now into turn 1. Early on the page, you can see with the downforce you have to run around. You're normally running about 49, 42 wings, something like that. You can just, into the corners, just get your foot straight flat down. And you can see he's got no hesitation on the throttle. That's a bit of a snapper on the exit of turn 2. He's now charging up in towards turn 4. You can see 2 cars just ahead of McLaren. And he has backed off. That snap at turn 2 definitely compromised that lap. We'll go on board with Nicola. He's invalidated on his run. So hopefully he can get to the line and get another one in. Mark Schluter. He's just coming into the final corner 13 as well. We'll go on board with Don Pietro Aguiano. He's on his lap now. He's just coming through in towards the 6-7 chicane. Can he take pole? He did it on the bank laps, but can he do it on the final run? You can see there a Ferrari just in the way. Luckily, moves out the way just in time. And we'll stick on board with Aguiano as he comes through sector 2. A little bit of a bad line there, but he's up by 69 thousandths of a second. That is enough possibly for the top 6. If you can improve in this final sector. Purple sector 2 though, so that's definitely something to call on.
Riding the 4th gear throttle for just a fraction of a second. Could lose him, that 69 he had there. Out of the last corner, punches it up. Come on, surely it's top 6.
Ooh, up to 4th. Then we'll go on board with Daniel Yeltsin. He's into the final corner now in the Alfa Romeo. Let's see, can Daniel... Oh, no, he's starting his lap. That was anticlimactic. Simon Komsky's also starting his lap just behind Daniel. Stachura's down at turn 2. Harlan Marquis is just at turn 1. Well, actually, we'll go on board with Harlan. We haven't really watched many laps of him today, have we? But he's always been at the top. So let's go on board with Harvey.
Yeah, I'm looking at Harvey Cohen as well. He's down actually by 7,000 in that first sector as the checker flag comes out. So Harlan Marquez pushing as he comes down towards turn 2.
Yep. And Lars Butterman crosses line 16th. In the Mercedes with the 15.391. Just is out the session. He's crashed down at turn 1. He looks like he's gone straight on. And Yannick Schmidt goes pole by 5 thousandths of a second. Leroy Brown finishes 10th. Cameron Days up to 7th with a 15 flat. Still on board with Harlan Marquis now as he's coming through into turn 5. We're going to shoot up to Daniel Yeltsin. And Stefano's also retired in 17th. Daniel coming through into turn 9 and 10. Let's see. Daniel into turn 11. Does he improve 8 thousandths up? It would be enough to take him pole. That's an alpha. That's Simon Lekomsky spinning down at turn 11. So that's it for Simon Lekomsky. Can Daniel take provisional pole here in this section or get himself on that front row? As he comes in towards the final corner now. Harvey Cohen, 7th with the 15.043. Can Daniel Yeltsin take pole? Previous championship leader. Yes, he can. A 14.868. John Pietro going into the pits. Harlan Marquis up to the line. Go second!
Whoa.
Puts himself on the front row, and that is qualified over. Daniel Yeltsin, followed by Harlan Marquis. 2 amazing laps there from 2 amazing drivers. Daniel only one to put himself into the 14.8s.
Spammy doesn't improve, stays in 4th. That is qualifying concluded. So Daniel Jensen once again doing the domination, taking pole position by a 10th of a second. Yannick Smix was my surprise there, Richie, in P3. Yeah. And look at that, Harvey Cohen, championship leader, winning the last 2 races plus a sprint. Only down 7th place.
Look how close it is, though. Between P2 and P4, it's just over 100th of a second. Between 6th and 9th, it's just over 400ths of a second. This grid is really close. And that's what I say. People might say that leagues don't normally do good league placement and tier placements, but really, this tier 2, they are one of the closest in leagues. They are really, really close every single time in qualifying, but there's still a race to go. P1 to P14, 3.5 tenths. That is absolutely amazing.
Top 5 in the same 10th of a second.
Yes, and you can see Daniel Yeltsin takes pole. Obviously, he took a pole once before, so they only like to take 2 poles this season so far. Harlan Marquis, first time on the front row. I think it's one of the first times in the top 5 this season. Yannick Schmidt in 3rd. Followed by Simon Komsky, Kamal Chachura, Gian Pietro Aguiano. Harvey Cohen, the championship leader, down in 7th. Cameron Dowd, Sergio Sabrino, and Tony Richet take up the top 10. Then we have JSD, Lewis Brown in 12th, which is really surprising for him. Bals Palmer 13th, Nicola Leda, Mark Schluter, Conor Backer, Stefano Samsin, Lars Butterman, Bogdan Moldova in 19th, and Tom Martinez down in 20th with just under 6 tenths back off the pole sitter. So it's been an interesting qualifying for many people. A shame for Bogdan down in 19th. Also a shame for Tom down in last. But you can see Harlem's done a really good qualifying session. So was Yannick Schmidt as well. Oh, it's wet.
Perfect.
Oh, this could Well, what did Harvey say before? I don't know if he was with him, but he did say that wet races are the best. Well, that's what he said to me at least. He said wet races are his favourite. So this could work in favour of Harvey. But the thing is, it's wet. It can go to dry. So does that mean strategy comes into play? Do we see people pitting maybe for because I can't really tell if it's inter or wet, but it looks more inters at the moment. We'll be able to see though once the drivers get on track. But strategy could come into play here. If it stays like this the whole race, do you stay out for the whole race or do you pit halfway through? Do you pit to dry a tyre? Everything can be played out. And I could possibly see some teams say, right, you know what? Being as you're down in 17th or 18th, can we pit you and just see what the place is like and then pit me? You see teams probably trying a few things out to get the better of their teammates who are up in the top 5.
I think Lars is going to go for intermediates. I can just see them in front of us there on the screen. He's gone on green inters, and I can't see anybody else who ties, or can't see Sergio Sabrinos, but definitely Lars on intermediates. Yep. So they're all. The reason we're having a delay is because they're all doing their strategy ready for the race.
One thing for everyone in the chat who's watching, let us know, who do you think will win the race? Obviously, we've got Daniel Yeltsin and pole followed by Harlan Marquis and then Yannick Schmidt in third. Do you think the top 3 will win, or do you think maybe Harvey or Cameron or someone even outside the top 10 could win the race? Let us know in the chat. See what you think. Lars Butterman's left the session. So speaking of Lars, he's now gone. So let's hope that isn't when everyone's leaving.
They're restarting the lobby because of Camille's problem with the 5 places.
We forgot about that, didn't we?
Apparently, Jona Martin says that he oversteered into him, didn't get boxed, he was off the track. Well, yeah, that's why Camille hit Bogdan Moldovan off track.
Oh, okay.
So
every WR race today is in Hungary and in the rain. How is that? Well, seems a bit of bad luck for some, but some also love the rain. And yeah, we'll be getting to it in a little bit. So we'll go back to the intermission screen just for a few minutes as we get everything sorted back out. But that was a great qualifying session, wasn't it, Josh?
It really was as well. Just taking a look at the chat as well. Many people saying, Harlan Marquez saying Camille again. Understeered into himself, understeered into Bogdan. Luke says it's an unfair grid pen, so immediately we're going to have a lobby restart. But the driver's very frustrated about that, as Lars says that Bogdan was in the pit lane when that happened. So that 5 places should have actually stood in some places.
On my screen, Camille and Bogdan wasn't together when it happened, so it confused me. But Camille was the one who had the desync last week in Belgium on the start when he jumped it, because
that's what triggered us getting kicked out the lobby.
The question is this a reoccurring issue for Camille? Is it going to cause more issues with the lobby? And Harvey's in the lobby now, so we can get into the lobby, join him in. He'll have to obviously sort everyone's placement on the grid, get everything sorted out, which shouldn't take too long, probably take about 5-6 minutes. So we should be getting underway shortly. It's been a bit of a longer stream, hasn't it?
I can't get in.
Oh, you can't? You should be able to join in through me, possible.
Yep. There we go. It won't let me join through any of the drivers, but it does let me join in through Richie, which is always good.
Yep, but we got just 3 or 4 drivers in now. Cameron, Harvey, Simon and Ballas. So obviously everyone else will be jumping in. It's raining. Well, it's set on rain. But obviously I can't see if it will change throughout the session. It might do, actually. Can I see what the weather's going to be like throughout the session? Lobby option. Yeah. Let's see. Where's weather? Custom. Unfortunately, I can't see what the weather's going to be like.
I can't see either. Full rain, so I think it's full wet weather. Everybody got to run wet setups now. Nicola Adele says dry race and we're all happy. So now there's an argument going on whether it's a wet race or a dry race, but we saw it was wet, so it's a wet race. We can't then just change the conditions. It's a wet race, whether you like it or not. So this is getting messy. I'm just moving my microphone.
The fun of F1 22.
Got to be so careful with my new heater underneath the desk now, because it's got a kill switch underneath it in case it gets knocked over. So it automatically cuts the power so it doesn't spark out. But it was burning my lead to my headset.
It's not ideal, is it, that?
It's getting warm, and I'm not replacing a 180 odd quid headset lead right before the start of the season. So I've just moved the heater.
Everyone as well, let us know in the chat. F1 liveries, what's your favourite so far? I'll probably say the Alfa Romeo. I think it's the most obvious one. And I'll probably say
carbon, though, Richie.
True, but it's still one of my favourite looking ones. And then second,
they've designed it well.
I'll probably say, I don't know, the Aston looked really nice. I know it's the exact same as last year, but it's really nice.
Aston was my favourite so far.
The McLaren I expected less, to be honest. I was actually surprised. It looks really good. I expected it to look really bad, but it doesn't,
I don't
surprisingly.
like the amount of black at the
Oh,
back. I think the chrome sticker's also a bit too
mhm,
stuck there.
yeah.
So I'm surprised the back hasn't been designed a bit more. I
And
was
then you
critical
have
of that on the commentary.
the
Yeah.
Red Bull, pretty same as
Same
last
old,
year,
same old.
which I'm not too bothered about because it's a nice looking car anyway. It doesn't need to be changed.
Do
You've
you remember
got
that joke on Top
mhm.
Gear, Richie, where the Porsche 911 is they've got a new one out, same as last one, same as last one. Then they go back in time, and it's just a Volkswagen Beetle. It's pretty much what the Red Bull is. If you go back far enough, it ends up as a Stewart from
Really?
1999, from 1997. So yeah,
Oh, well, that is
well,
something I didn't know.
it was Stewart originally, 97 to 99, Jaguar 2000 to 2004, Red Bull 2005 onwards. But Ford
Mhm.
were always present because Ford tied up with Stewart to provide their powertrain or their engine back in the day. And
Mhm.
then Jackie Stewart, his son was battling cancer at the time, so
Yeah.
he couldn't afford to run the team
Mhm.
and do that. So he sold the team to Jaguar. Which was at the time owned by Ford. So basically, he sold it to Ford. They ran out as Jaguar. They put it into so much debt and so bad of a development that they sold it to Red Bull for £1. And
Really?
yes, they sold it to Red Bull for £1 on the deal that Red Bull then took all the debt
Oh
of what Ford
my
had. So
god.
it was sold for £1 in 2004. Red Bull took over for 2005, and now 18 years later, Ford
Mhm.
returns to the team they sold for
Yes.
£1. You just can't
It's
write
mad.
it,
You
but it is
can't.
poetic.
It's mad, isn't it? But the thing is, as well, wasn't that 2005? That was when Horner joined, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Horner, he was the honest team principal at that point as well.
isn't he the longest running team principal in Formula One at the moment? If I'm
At the
correct.
moment, he is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. At the moment, he is 2005
And
onwards.
obviously, he's the
Frank Williams was
longest.
the longest. Yeah.
He's obviously the longest running in one team as well currently.
No, well, currently yes, but Frank Williams has that record because he was it from 1979 until his death in 2020, because he was still no 2020 because then he was still team principal before the team
Really?
got sold. Yeah, he was the honorary team
Oh.
principal, but still registered as team principal. Claire was only deputy team principal, his daughter.
Ah.
And then it was sold to Dorito Capital in Italy 2020. So
And
after
then
that, it
obviously,
changed.
you had Capito join, and now it's James Vowles. What you actually thought? What are your thoughts about that before we get started? James Williams, good, bad?
Oh, it's an interesting call. The ties between Williams and
Mhm.
Mercedes have always been
Yeah.
there
See,
for decades,
uh
and it's a good lineup. And I think Toto told him to go because
definitely.
Toto came from Williams with when Susie was there.
See,
Toto owned shares in Williams still,
I
and now
think
owns shares in Mercedes. So I think it's a good move.
they wanted Susie Williams, but it's like the FIA or F1 probably said, actually, we can't have that. We can't have husband and wife working in separate teams. It can be a bit. There can be lots going on corrupt. So they get James Vowles in as second. Obviously, Mercedes can send him off there. James Vowles has worked with Mercedes for a long time. Mercedes at the moment one of the most successful teams in the past 10, 15 years. So that's what it's going to be good for Williams, because James Vowles has the experience of working at a top team. He can help get Williams up there. Obviously, they're probably not going to be finishing higher than 8th or maybe 7th at a stretch this season, but
Yeah.
they've got the experience there, and then they can start bringing in more drives. Obviously, they've got Albon, he's pretty experienced, been at Red Bull. Obviously, did a pretty good season at Williams last year. Then he got Sargent, he's just upcoming, but I feel like give him a few races, maybe half a season, he could start picking up again onto the back of Albon. But I think, then again, people have kind of got to go in with the same expectations for Sargent as they do for Piastri. Piastri, I think, has had too much of an expectation. He's like, right, people are saying he's going to be on the pace of Ladder straight away, and if he's not, they should get rid of him. Whereas people will be like, well, it's Sargent's first season. It's all right if he's off the pace. You know what I mean? People kind of feel that bias towards the higher teams. If you're in a higher team, you should automatically be better, which I don't think is that fair.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Oscar Piastri situation kicked off because Alpine didn't pick up
Mhm.
his contract early.
Yeah.
So he signed with McLaren. Then
Mhm.
Alpine got dropped in it because Alonso said he was off to Aston Martin after Vettel announced his retirement in Hungary.
Mhm.
Literally, I went into the summer break after Hungary. I went camping a few days afterwards, and my phone blew up more than it would do during the season. So that was exciting, having to deal with all that. So we're having a lot of trouble with the league, by the
We
way.
are.
None of the drivers are happy with what the conditions are like. But I think Oscar Piastri's made the right decision for him. McLaren seems to be on the up, but I'm not convinced that McLaren are going to be race winners this year, and it'll take a while yet.
I think it's going to backfire. I think Lando and Piastri are going to make contact a lot. Tom Martinez, he's down in 20th. He set a 15.5, I think it was 15.6, 15.5. So yeah, we start at the back, but we are getting underway. So we're going to move to the screen where we can see the track and the drivers.
Let's hope it's a clean and quick race.
Let's hope.
Because many people are saying that they want to play Hogwarts Legacy afterwards.
I can't blame them. I need to buy it myself, but I haven't got the money at the moment. I definitely will be.
And I'm saving it for my birthday so I can enjoy it.
But, yep, there we go. 25 seconds. We will be getting underway very shortly, which is great. To wait for Tom Martinez to load. He's having a bit of loading connection issues, which isn't ideal considering he's a streamer. Oh, and he's in. There we go. Tom Martinez is in 20th, I already said. But we're now getting, please wait, and it's wet again. And it looks Inter's like last time. I can see Lars Butterman yet again with the intermediate tyres. But it's going to be exciting, isn't it? Who do you think, right, so we'll just say it at the top 5. Which position do you think is leading to turn 1? I think the person in second will lead into turn 1.
Third.
Oh.
The person in third will lead.
But do we get a Valtteri Bottas situation?
Possibly with these wet conditions. We mentioned it, didn't we, at the top of the show?
Yeah.
In wet, it gets tricky into turn 1. It becomes the ice rink, bobsleigh.
And then turn 2 as well, because obviously in the wets it's a lot easier to lock up anyway. So into turn 2, that's going to be a pain for some drivers. Turn 4, you're going to be careful with your setup. You don't lose too much of the rear end as you go into it. Turn 5 shouldn't be too bad. The chicane should be pretty simple, like a normal chicane. The Mickey Mouse section, that's, you know, as long as you take it carefully and you don't push too hard, that should be fine. Turn 11 should be all right as long as you don't hit the curb too much. Turn 12 should be fine. Then 13 and 14, you've got to be very careful. Obviously, Max Verstappen demonstrated for us what happens if you don't take the exit at turn 13 correctly. Hence, he spun and lost 3 seconds. Or I think it was about 6 seconds, sorry. So, yeah. So it's going to be interesting for these drivers if they're good in the wet. If there's not practice the wet, they're probably going to be at the back of the grid by the end of lap 1. But if they have, they could be leading by the end of lap 1. But we have 4 seconds, 3 seconds. We'll be just going inside very, very shortly. We should be able to see the cars in about 3 seconds. There we go. We can see the cars now. We can see Hassan from Airline up in the front row. We have 4 lights. We have 5 lights. And it's lights away for the... I mean, we've got a jump through penalty again. But it's lights away for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Harlan Marquez takes the lead. Going into towards turn 1. We also get Yannick Schmidt battling Daniel Yassin round the outside at turn 1. And Harlan Marquez leading into turn 1 there. But Daniel's coming back at him up the inside, going down towards turn 2. Harlan Marquez will have the inside line to turn 2. We've also got Harvey and Simon Kopsky and Yannick Schmidt all fighting down at turn 2. 3 wide between those lot. But Daniel Hudson keeps the lead from Harlan Marquez. Harlan right on the back of him, though. Coming up to turn 4, we've also got Kamil Shura having more issues with it. Looks like his connection down at turn 4. But we look further down, we can see Gian-Pietro Giano fighting with Simon Komsky. Also Tony Richet fighting Cameron Dowd up in towards the 6-7 chicane. Is Tony going to try and break late and get up to the inside? He does, but he locks up and goes straight on.
And he's lost him in 2 positions there as well, with Leroy going around the outside. Perfect getaway from Daniel and Harlem as well. They were right up there. Leroy's got the inside then of Tony Richet. They're making contact to 2 Red Bulls. Well, Tony Richet was also having problems on the opening start. He was 3 wide in the mid-pack at turn 2 and almost made contact. Harvey Cohen's up to 4th position. And basically, it's just who can get round. But it stopped raining, Richie, so that means the track might just dry out throughout the race. Oh, there's the rain out the last corner.
Yep, look, it's a lot heavy down at the last couple of corners. Moksha again past Ballas Palmer there. Oh no, Ballas Palmer lost position, sorry. Then at turn 13, you can see there's about 3 of them all together coming out of that final corner. JS leading that little pack. But we have Ballas and Marks side by side as they come down in towards turn 1. We're going to go up to Harvey Cohen as he's on the back of Yannick Schmidt into turn 1, going around the outside. Can he get it done? Oh, he gets pushed off track a little bit there, so he's lost time. Kamil Stachura's out in the pit lane. So that's all for the Williams driver. Big shame, considering he qualified really well in that top 5. But Harvey still looking to put the pressure onto Yannick Schmidt. He's got to be careful he doesn't put too much pressure on him, though, because that could compromise some time and lose to the top 2, who seem to just be driving away a little bit with the 6/10 gap to Yannick.
Bogdan's dropped all the way down to 19th position. Lars Butterman's up to 17th, passing Tom Martinez as well. So Daniel's got a 0.3 tenth of a second lead at the moment. Yannick Smith is still up there as well. I thought the rain was stopping, Richie, but it's actually getting heavier again in the first and third sectors. Only sector 2 that looks relatively not slippy.
Oh, no, no, it's just Camel's car there. I'm going to be worried for a second. I thought someone was round there because I had a safety car, but no, the green flags are back, and we're going to get back under racing.
I don't think the drivers are going to be happy. They were made to restart. Jona Martins, Camille again, game issue. What is this? Says Camille as well. So Camille's not happy, but I don't think the drivers will be too happy with him. The fact that they made him restart the lobby and he's out before the race even really begins, and he jumps the start.
The jump start issue wasn't something he did intentionally. It was something he had issue last race. He's got DC, and that's probably internet issues. But if you've got internet issues, don't race. You know what I mean? You cause issues for others. But Harlan Marquis takes the fastest lap. No, sorry, Tony Richet takes the fastest lap, and Jake. So everyone's...
Sorry, Richie. Harvey Cohen's trying to go on the outside of Yannick to turn 1. He thought about it, can't get the wheel done. Trying to come back on the inside, down towards turn 2. But Yannick Smith is doing an amazing defence here at the moment as well. And Harvey Cohen's really having to find positions on the track to go through. And going offline in these conditions is more dangerous than you might think.
Yeah. And obviously, look, Harvey's a championship leader. He's in 4th. Yannick Schmidt is 3rd in the championship. No, second in the championship. He's in 3rd. And Daniel Yeltsin, who's 3rd in the championship, is up in 1st. So it's not looking too good for Harvey, because it means those two, if they do finish like this, they could start to claw a few more points back up towards Harvey. But now you can see the grid's kind of shaped itself a little bit now. We're going to watch Lars Butterman, who's on the back of Nicola Leda. But the grid itself really has kind of shaped itself. It'll probably stick very similar to this now for the next few laps. The rain's basically stopped, on my view. It's getting heavier, it's getting back heavier. So, I don't think we'll be looking for any sort of dry tyres anytime soon, but possibly in a few, probably in about 10-15 laps time, possibly. Lars Butterman going off the track there.
I think we'll be on for a fair bit while yet.
Could be. We're going to watch Harlan Marquis. So he's on the back of Daniel Yeltsin again. 3 tenths is a gap between these two. And Harvey seems to have lots of straight line speed, which helps him when charging after Yannick Schmidt. Look at that now. The gap's 3.5 tenths. It will start to tumble down as they come down towards turn 1. Harlan takes a quick fastest lap. Look at Harvey, 2 tenths, 1 tenth. Goes up the inside. Bit of a late lunge there. Doesn't work
Everyone
out,
was
though.
trying it, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was trying it to turn 1, and it just wasn't paying off. They can't get the braking right, because they don't want to lock up the tyres.
Yeah, and that's the big issue, locking up into turn 1. You've also got to be careful making an overtake in turn 2, because you lock up there, you are going straight... Oh, you're going straight off the track. There's no talking about it there, and you're going to hit someone as well. But yeah, still on board with Harvey, though, looking to try and get some positions. Yannick Schmidt 6 tenths back off. Harlem's gained a lot of time on the back of Daniel Yeltsin there. I think Daniel had a bit of a mistake down at turn 4.
He did, twitched the car. I was watching him.
Go on board with Harlem. You can see, could be looking for a race win here. The first race win of the season for him. Daniel Yeltsin will be looking for a second race win of the season. He won back in Coulter, I believe, with an amazing last couple of lap charge. But look at Harlem right on the back. Got a lot more pace beyond the back of Daniel. In towards turn 12 now, the gap's just over a tenth and a half. And you can see they're starting to break off a little bit more of Yannick Schmidt now. Yannick just 7 tenths behind, so Harvey's going to want to be getting past Yannick as soon as possible to get himself back into the little trend of the top 2. And the question is, when can Harlan get through? Because you can see he's eager to get through. You haven't got to worry about DRS, so there's no advantage of having DRS here, or not having it as so. Let's see, is Harlan going to be able to get closer to make a move down to turn 1? He's gaining. Just under 3 tenths now, just over 2 tenths, looks for it. Backs off at the last second. We'll go on Buddy Harvey Cohen. He hasn't gained enough, but Harlan, yet again, still on the back of Daniel as they come out of turn 1. Just 3 tenths between these two. This is going to get feisty over the next few laps between the top 2. You can see they're both battling for that first position. Harvey's battling for the podium position with Yannick. Then further down, there's not much battling going on, but we'll look at Lars Butterman, who's right on the back of Nicola Releda, has been on the back of him for the past 2 laps, but just can't get through. And you can see he's got a lot more pace. Nicola just... under a second behind now to Stefano, who's in 15th. He had a really good start. Started, I think, it was 17th on the grid. Now up to 15th. But yeah, you can see Harvey yet again, 2.5 tenths up. You can see it's normally around that 2 tenth gap to the back of Yannick. Yannick's normally around that 6-7 tenth gap to the back of Harlem, so it's not ideal. But still keeping on board with Lars Butterman now. Nicola Releda out of that 1 second gap to Stefano now. So it's about time Lars gets through it, because he doesn't want to start losing time and getting himself stuck in that bottom 4. Because that is really not ideal.
It's really not. They've got to find a lot more time and a lot more improvement then as well as they fly through. And these tricky parts of the track as well that you just got to sort of keep your fingers crossed that you don't make several mistakes through. And I'm enjoying this one, Richie. It's another psychological thriller that we're having to play.
Definitely, because it can all change. Look at the rain. It's practically gone at some parts of the track, but then others, like here down at turn 13, it's really heavy. And we're going to go board with Harlem. Now we're going to go board with Harvey, because you can see he's not gaining as much time anymore down these straights. So I think, has he used much ERS? He's not used much at all. So he's going to start saving now. We're going to keep on board with him. Just 5/10 now. Simon Kopsky behind. We've also got Tony and Leroy fighting down at turn 1. The two Red Bulls coming together in towards turn 2 now. Is Leroy going to be able to stick head? He's got the inside line. Tony's got the outside line. Leroy up the inside. Oh, you can see Tony still trying to keep himself in there. A little bit of contact between the two. Bit of a slide for Tony. But Leroy still keeps that 9th position there. You can see Tony Evans going to gain up to turn 4. No, he's not. So that's that done for those two. But a bit of a scare for Leroy, and also a bit of a scare for the cars behind. It could have caused a bit of an incident. But luckily, they make it through. Dandy and fine as it could be. So no collision there for the Red Bulls.
As you were saying, which is an old school style circuit as well, so if they did make contact, it would have been a pile up massively. So the two Red Bulls just about giving each other enough respect as well. But you're right, they're all within a second of each other, but there's not much overtaking. No. It's a wet track, and it's the Hungaroring. It's impossible. As off in the background goes Tony Richet as well. He's lost a little bit of time. Tobacco's going to be on him too. So no one can get through. It's literally like racing around on bicycles in the living room.
Yeah, it's impossible to get through, but you can see how close people get to, and you're like, right, you're 10th behind, come on, go for it, but you just can't, you can't get it, you can't get the grip when trying to overtake around here, really, unless you've got the DRS, which we haven't got. Harlem, quickest lap. Harlem definitely seems like one of the quickest drivers on the track at the moment. We're going to go on board with him, because look, he's 2.5 tenths behind Daniel, but yeah, again, not close enough to make a move. That's the issue. Yes, he could send it from 3 tenths back, but it's not worth it, is it, really?
No,
it's definitely not ideal.
Not this early in the race, anyway.
Again, Lost Butterman on the back of Nicola Releda now. Is he going to be close to make a move? Because he's just over a 10th. Does he send it? No, he sticks behind Nicola Releda once again in the Mercedes. Then he's 17th, but you can see Nicola going for a bit of a defensive line. Is that going to allow Lars to look for an overtake? Yes, it is. Down at turn 3. Lars into 16th now. Gets through on Nicola. Now he's going to be having to charge back up after Stefano because he's outside the 1 second gap. Doesn't matter because you haven't got DRS, but still you want to be within a second of everyone. So you can benefit of a little bit of slipstream every now and then. Sergio Sereno, however, he's sometimes getting himself out that 1 second gap, which isn't helping Cameron Davis, nor is it helping Leroy and Tony.
Wonderful side by side, right round the outside of the run up towards turn 4. Dangerous position to make an overtake, but somehow Lars made it stick. That was fantastic racing.
It was.
And at the front, Yannick Smith is now right up the back of Harlem Marquez. Harlem's made an error in the second sector. Jensen's got now an 8/10 lead, and Yannick Smith might just fancy second position here and might drag Harvey with him, and Simon too.
Let's see. Coming out of turn 14 now down towards the line. I don't think it's going to be making much of a move here. Harvey yet again gaining lots of time on. Yannick down towards turn 1. 2.5 tenths. Not going to be enough to make a move. 6 back for now. But yeah, Harlem must have made a big mistake in possibly turn 11 or 12 there. Lars Butterman goes quickest with a 1, I think it was a 28.5, if I read that correctly. He's up in 16th. Could be looking for 15th shortly. He's just getting about 5 tenths on Stefano in that lap alone. But look at Harvey, right on the back of Yannick Schmidt. Looks like Yannick's made a bit of a mistake because he's just 3 tenths behind him. But yeah, it's a lot about, there's not much overtaking on here. It'll be down to strategy because I assume the rain might go in halfway, maybe 3/4 through the race, and that's when it really comes to wanting to pit stop. If it stays wet the whole way through, do you want to go to the end? Is it really that much of a risk, or are you gonna come in and get a change of tyres? I think it was Esteban Ocon, wasn't it, who went the whole race in Hungary 2021 when he won first win without having a pit stop. Defended from Sebastian Vettel for 52 laps or something like. It's 52 laps, isn't it? No, 70 laps, isn't it?
Yeah, but he was only leading after 52.
Yeah, so it was big.
Bottom-end penalty, 3 seconds.
For Ocon. So, in real life, it's possible to defend for someone for 20, 30 laps and also take one set of inters to the end. But doesn't mean it'll be the same here in F122, does it? But yeah, a shame for Lars getting the 3 second there. That will basically drop him back to 19th, which isn't ideal at all. Yeah, again, keeping on board with the guys that come down in towards turn 1. All shooting down turn 1. Look at Daniel. Harlem.
Is he
Gaining
gonna
back
make
up.
a move?
It's getting back up to 3/10. Look at this, right behind Daniel
He's
there.
caught that gap back up. Daniel's just lost so much time in that third sector. Harlem looked like it may be saving energy. And look at that. Is that fuel light on for Harlem?
Yeah,
it is. Fuel light's on.
Yeah, but that doesn't really matter at the moment because he's just say he's 0.02 fuel
above,
down now. You know, we can claw that back in 26 laps time, I think it is.
Yannick Schmitz is the same, by the way, on that red energy light for the fuel.
So, still keeping on the back of Harvey Cohen. You can see he's just 2/10 behind Yannick Schmitz coming into the 6M chicane. And we're going to have a little look further down the grid. You can see we have JSD fighting corner to back up. Just 3/10 between those two. They've been very close for a long time, but it's not really been close enough for any moves at all. But we'll just stick on the back of Jay for now. Cornet's not been on the ultimate pace, unfortunately. Nor has he been on the ultimate pace this season. Hasn't finished the race yet. DNF to all 4 races, which isn't ideal at all. Scored no points in the sprint race either at Baku. So he definitely wants to get himself into that top 10. And you can see Jay just 2/10 behind, right on the back of Cornet now as they're coming towards turn 13. Don't think he'll be close enough into 13. No, he won't. He's going to go around the outside. Takes the inside line on the exit. Yeah, again, you can't make an overtake. It's so difficult. But the question is, can he get him down towards turn 1? 2.5 tenths, 3 tenths now. You can see Jay having a bit of a twitch, though, on the exit. Hit the sausage curb. Well, the concrete curb, which is ideal. Also, Harvey Cohen.
Oh, he's coming. Yep.
On the back of Yannick Schmidt to turn 1. Yet again, not close to make a move. But he was close. That was definitely for sure. Less than a tenth, the gap between those two. But
I think he backed out of that for sure. He could have got that move done, which I'm surprised.
Harvey's got to be careful though, because if he makes too many lunges, it could also benefit Simon Komsky. So he's got to be careful what he does. He's got to make logical moves in this race. And I think for now, sticking in fourth might be perfectly fine for him. You know, we've got possible pit stops coming up soon. And this is probably going to be the main battle of the race so far between third and fourth, because one miniature mistake from Yannick is it done for him. Aleda, sorry, getting a 3 second. The guy who's behind lost bottom on by 1.6 seconds now. So he's losing lots of time, which means Lars, he's currently 18th provisionally. Bogdan, though, big shame, down in 19th.
I mean, Lap got forced out right to the back.
Well, he did start 19th anyway on the grid.
Yeah, but he did make up a couple of positions. He was 15th running into turn 1, then got forced back. So it wasn't that good. That was the 3 wide I was talking about, and there was contact at the start of the race. Yeah, he made a great getaway.
Still keeping on board with Harvey though, into turn 14 now. 2.5 tenths gap. Don't think he'll be close enough yet again to get a move. No, he won't. So it's just going to be kind of just following each other down towards turn 1.
I think Harvey's just nesting the energy. He is.
Back up. Yeah. Goes quickest with a 28.570 there. He's currently down in 11th position, just nearly a second behind Tony Vichet as they come through in towards turn 1.
Outside the points as well, unfortunately.
Yep, and you can see Harvey's just got so much more pace, but you can't overtake around here, so he can't get through. No. The Komsky and Pietro are just chilling, really, where they are in 5th and 6th. And the same for everyone else down towards 10th, just chilling in that position they're in. And at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if it finished like the way it is for the top 4, because it's going to be very difficult for Harvey to make a move. You can see there's a little bit of a drier line starting to form. Not that the rain's ending, but you can see the lines are getting a little bit drier through up to turn 5 there, turn 4.
It's slowly starting to become, the rain is becoming less of an issue.
Yeah.
Which is good, but the problem is we haven't got DRS and everyone's saving their energy, so we're not having overtakes.
Nope.
I don't think I've seen one in the last 5 laps.
We haven't at all. Actually, no, we did between Aleda and Butterman. That was a really nice move between those two. But you can see Aleda's just not on the pace. He's dropped 2 seconds to Butterman already.
That's annoying.
Which is really annoying.
Harvey's got the good exit out of 13. If he can toe the line through 14, he's got to go for it. He can't just sit behind all day. He's saved up his ERS battery power to 93%. Now he's activating it. He's in the slipstream down towards turn number 1. Just go for it. Go for the move.
He's not going to. He's going to pretend.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he pretends.
Does a dummy into turn 1. Just trying to scare Yannick a bit. Yannick doesn't fall for that move, and he stays in 3rd. Harvey stays in 4th. That's probably the minute time he said that this race. But we're going to go back and look at Joyesti. You can see he gained a lot on Kodabaka down towards turn 1. Kodabaka now is 1 second. The only driver is out at 1 second in that top 15. Mox Luta also on the back of Ballas Palmer. Those lot having not having the best race at all so far. So we've still got what the 23 laps left remaining.
Yes. So there's still a pit stop to come, remember?
Yes, definitely. Question is, do people stay out and hope for dries, or do they pit for inters? You know, it's all about gambling. Especially when you're in these inter conditions, because you could possibly stay out and wait for it to dry up if it will. Obviously, we can't see if it'll dry up or not. So anyone who's engineering, let us know in the chat, is it meant to dry up? Because that's the type of information that the spectators don't have access to, unfortunately.
We should. The game should allow the commentators to know what's going to happen in terms of drying up. Because in real life, when we commentate Richie on F1 and things like that, we can see the weather percentage and the forecast.
Yona says inters for the whole race. Thank you there, Yona.
Right.
So that means we'll definitely, most possibly having pit stops halfway through the race, I believe. I wouldn't think anyone's daring enough to go to the end on the set of inters. It wouldn't be logical, but you never know. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how things always work in terms of strategy. So we'll have to see. But following Bogdan Moldovan, who's only 19th currently, still not having the best race at all. He hasn't really gained much.
Nobody's gained.
Well, true, but he's lost only, hasn't he? He gained up 4 positions.
Sideways now.
Gained 4 positions up at turn 1. Harlem, however, right on the back of Daniel Yeltsin yet again. Seems to be a one-stop. Undercut can be big.
He's going for it. Daniel made a mistake at the top of the hill again at 4. Harlem is right with him now through the June set. Well, not the June section. Through the Mickey Mouse tightrope section. I thought Harvey might have gone for a move, Richie, but he hasn't.
I thought someone went round then. Was it Lekomsky who went round?
Yes, because we've got Giapietro up into 5th position.
Yep, I saw something happen then. I thought, hang on, what happened there? So just sprint on the back of Lekomsky. But Yona says in chat, seems to be one stop and the undercut can be big. So who's going to take that risk and go for the undercut? That's the question.
Harvey's right there as well in 4th position. I think the leaders are going to go for an opportunity. We might actually get some moves down towards turn number 1. Fingers crossed at least. And into the pit lane comes Tony Maché and Corey Tabaka.
On board with Harlem now. Harvey, sorry. Down to turn 1. Not costing to make a move. No, he's not. Harlem also going for a dummy move on Daniel Yeltsin. Down to turn 1 as well, but still not enough. But yep, Tony and Cornet, first ones to go for the pit stop. Question is it too early? Is it too late? Or did they time it perfectly correct? And we can still watch Harvey. He's on the back of Yannick Schmidt still. Harlem still on the back of Yeltsin. The fight for the top 4, I can't say who I think will win at this point. It could be anyone. I think the likeliness will be the top 2 because Harlem has, I'd say, seems on probably better pace than Daniel so far. Yannick's not been as much on the pace. He can't really keep up with the top 2. However, Harvey, you can see
Harvey going up.
Harvey's right on the back of him, so you can't really call who a win. Oh, that's Harlem.
Did he go wide? He went wide. We're off the track.
Oh. Bit of a. I don't know if that was unsafe. I didn't see it properly, but it sent Yannick off a little bit. Had to brake. It's now put Daniel Yeltsin leading by a second. It's also got Harvey right on the back of Yannick Schmidt.
This will be Harvey making. He'll make the move into 12. He's going to have to go to the inside line. He's going to have to make the move now. He senses blood. Oh, there's nose to nose. Oh, that's close. They didn't lose anything.
Yep, Harvey didn't risk it too much there. And you can see they nearly had a bit of nearly had a bit of a spin at the rear there. You could see how close he was. Also, Ogiano's also gained on Harvey.
Yeah, Ogiano might have run into turn 1 here.
So it's caused issues for many drivers in that top 4, apart from Yeltsin, who's come out pretty unscathed.
Yeah, over a second
there. But now Harlem's got to get himself back into contention of the back of Daniel Yeltsin. Then to turn 1. That's Gianpietro Ogiano on Harvey Cohen. Bit of contact. Has he done it? I think he might have done. Harvey's going to have the inside line.
Well, Harvey's got to think about the championship here. Giapietro doesn't have to think about anything. And look at that, they're so close. They do touch, Richie.
Yep, they do. And Gianpietro's going to try and stick it into turn 3, but can't stick it in. We're going to keep on board with him still as he comes up to turn 4. I think that's all of it now. Done and dusted.
Masterful.
It was a good attempt from Gianpietro, but still not enough. Harvey able to keep that P4 position still. It could have been over then for Harvey with that top 4.
What that does prove to me, Richie, though, is that Harvey has the pace to fight.
Yes.
He's choosing not to. So he's choosing to stay in 4th position.
Yeah, definitely. But obviously, Simon Komsky's lost position to Gianpietro, which isn't ideal for him at all. He's down now to 6th. But the question is, when do the top 4 decide to pit? Does anyone go for a one-stop strategy? Sorry, no. Does anyone go for the undercut, the overcut? What they're going to do? Because, you know, it's a tight one. Obviously, you can see most of the top 4 can pit without having to worry about their teammates behind, so that's not an issue, luckily. Does anyone choose to pit? No, they don't. So we've still got the top 4 saying that they're going to go late. So it was really early pit stop from Tony and Cornet. The others still saying out 16 laps in the race, nearly halfway. Halfway will be about 17.5 laps. Lars Butman goes quickest at 28.2. Bogdan Moldovan into the pit lane now. He's going to be pitting onto some new tyres. He'll come out behind Stefano. Easily come out behind.
Lost out those. Richet on those faster new tyres does a 1:27.392. So new Inters are definitely quicker than the 16-lap odd ones. If halfway will be a logical point to come in and change tyres if it's an Inter race, as Joanna Martin says.
Yeah. The thing is, Camel's left the session now, but he wasn't racing anyway. But I don't know who's going to go first. I think. See, the thing is, Daniel might wait for Harlan to pit, and Harlan might also be waiting for Daniel to pit as well. They want to, so it's kind of hard when to call, but they've got to make that decision sometime soon. This top 4, they can't say it forever. They've got to pit. Because if you leave... Oh, and that's Sergio Sabrino off. Luckily, catches a car. He's now down to 9th position. That was a big snap. Coming out to turn 8, that could have been all over for Sergio then, but he still keeps it neat and clean. Coming into turn 12 now, just drops down to 9th position, puts Leroy and Cameron ahead of him. So that's all worries over for now. But look at Yannick Schmidt right on the back of Harlan Marquis. Harlan's made a big mistake, I think, coming through turn 12 or 13. Question is, can Harvey get through on him? Because look at this gap, 2.3 tenths, it's gaining. Is it enough for Harvey to get through? Down the straight now, past the pit lane. Is it enough? No, it's not. He sticks back still. It's going to take a bit of a better line.
Struggling. They are all struggling out now, Richie. I don't know what is causing these struggles. Tyres going off, possibly, but why aren't we seeing more people fall off?
Not quite sure, but I'm sure we'll find out after the race when we speak to the drivers, because it seems like Harvey's had many opportunities, but then again, it depends what his plan is. He could have a plan in mind which is just sticking behind for now. You don't know. These drivers are next level. I'm sure they all have top-level engineers who will be helping them out, so, they all have the best of the best. But it's just about seeing what strategy works out the best for the people and for the racers here today. I can definitely see at least one of the top 4 pitting before lap 20.
What's happened to Daniel? He's dropped a second now, and he's right back in the mix with the 2 to 6.
I think just the fact that the others were pushing. Obviously, it was 9 tenths. He only dropped 4 tenths really, which isn't much of a issue at all.
Such a weird race.
It is.
Nothing's making sense.
The strategy is really what's going to come into play here.
Yeah.
Question is, do I want to pit this lap?
Be like a safety car, or
like in pits. So they're all
like
still
in
staying
NASCAR
out.
when they all head down when there's a caution out in NASCAR, they all head down the pit lane. Pretty much right. Or like a Hungary 2021 when they all dive in for dry tyres on the restart.
Yes, and Lewis Hamilton was the only one staying out, wasn't he?
Strangest start I've ever called.
Yep, it was a very weird start. And lights out for one driver only.
Yeah, I can't believe that happened.
Tony Richet.
27.2.
So these new tyres really work in errands for these drivers. They're in the lower positions who pitted early, but the question is, do the tyres fall off too early near the end of the race? That could cost them positions.
Yeah, they pitted just before half distance, so they will have problems at the end of the race.
Yeah.
Rain looks like it's going to stay exactly the same as it has been all season. And look at the McLaren here. So all day. The McLaren livery there looks like the similar one we saw today.
It does, but they're going that fast I can barely see the livery.
I was on about how it would be nice if they added an orange stripe on the new 2023 car. There was one last year on the 2022 car at the end of the year, and that's what I think was missing, the fact that it looked too blocky. So I didn't mind the end of that car last year, so if they put that orange stripe back on the 2023 car, we won't have a problem, McLaren.
Well, McLaren only launched their car 3 hours ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
no, 5 hours ago. Oh, Tom Martinez, 3-second time penalty. Becomes the 3rd driver to get a penalty this race so far. But they're all in the bottom 10, so it doesn't really matter in terms of losing positions for points.
It's been a long day
It has.
for launches and racing.
Still watching Harlan Marcus now into turn 1. You can see looking for a bit of a dummy move yet again on the back of Yeltsin. Yeltsin holding off pretty well to Harlan here. Harlan's really experienced, probably more experienced than Yeltsin, I'd probably say, in terms of how long he's been racing. So, you know, just experience work. It obviously didn't for Sebastian Vettel in 2021 at Hungary. But then again, their cars are different. These are all equal, or as they say, equal.
Yeah, they're not really equal, are they, with all the setup changes?
From what I've heard, there's actually differences between the different cars in general. Apparently.
I like racing with the Alfa Romeo on this game.
Same. Yeah, that's always been my favourite. Yeah, it is. I like the Alfa Romeo. I don't know if it's more of a placebo, but it just feels like I can drive the Alfa. I can also drive the Alpine pretty nicely as well. But then when it comes to the Aston Martin, I can't drive that car. I don't know what it is. It's
struggles that man.
Really weird. So I think it's more of a placebo effect.
And the Ferrari as well, I don't like, and the Red Bull. But then again, the Mercedes, you get the power in the Mercedes, but you can't turn as much with it. But the Alfa Romeo, the first time I drove it, I was like, oh, this is sweet. This is nice. It was perfect, hitting every apex. It was lovely. And definitely online, you can feel that difference. Maybe because you have it in time trial, where the differences are there in the game. You can change the competitive performance to real performance. And then you drive it online, and you think those differences are still there. So you have a certain usage of feeling it. But I certainly know as well that setups are key in online racing. Yeah,
they are. I'd probably say essential. Setups are. You don't race with a setup, you're not going to be that quick at all. Yeah. Realistically. So.
Wide! Yannick went wide. Harvey looked on the inside, but can't get through because I think Yannick shut the door.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I thought you were going to say Yannick was round then. But say he hasn't made on my screen. But
he went very deep into turn 3.
I said someone had picked before lap 20, and it's now lap 20. None of the top 4 appeared, so I was heavily wrong there about that one.
They want to wait as long as possible.
Yeah, but I still want to see when they're going to pick. Surely it's going to be soon.
It's got to be. Otherwise, the tyres will run the risk of exploding. Oh, hello. Harvey Cohen's got the blue pit indicator, which means his teammate's coming to the pit. Which is Nicola, yeah.
Nicola's already pitted, I believe.
No, still 19 laps.
Oh. Well, I didn't see that one. When do people pit the top 4? When are they going to start making moves?
I think we're going to see quite a lot in this lap, Richie. The indicators are flashing like mad, so...
No.
We're going to see... Well, not for the top 4. Bottom beyond, we'll see them coming in. They've got to, because the indicator was flashing on the monitor. They are all staying out. No one's come in. That's a surprise.
That is a big surprise as they come in through into turn 1 on the back of Harvey Cohen yet again. We've been watching Harvey most of the race, but he still hasn't been able to get a move done on the back of Yannick Schmidt. Holding off pretty well, but then again, it's not very hard. It's not very hard to hold off on this track, is it? Because it's.
Hello, Tom Martin is pits.
Yes,
so
he does
did pick on one.
So one person pitted. Oh, he's out of the session, retired in the pits.
Why.
That scared me for a second. I thought, he's out, but no, I thought he was retired on track. But Harlan Marcus still on the back of Daniel Yeltsin as we come through in towards turn 4, lap 21 of 35. So just about 14 laps to go. Look at Harvey right on the back then of Yannick. It was just under a tenth of a second. I mean, just over a tenth of a second at one point. We had a set to 1 yellow. That is for Tom Martinez's car. He'll be back on the pit lane shortly. Again. Yep. He'll be retiring down at turn, then the exit of turn 1.
I'll tell you what, Richie, usually I'm against retiring from races for no reason, but Martinez had a 6-second penalty in total and was at the back anyway, and you can't overtake the track. So in that instance, I actually don't mind. Because you can't do anything in these conditions.
You can't.
It's why we're seeing quite a lot of struggling racing today.
But still, watching the top 4, still staying out. Top 5 still staying out. Top 7, top 8 still staying out. So no one going for that stop yet. And we've done 21 laps, so it's very easily a one-stop. Easily a one-stop.
Jonas says that undercut can be big, so why is no one taking the opportunity?
Oh,
is Harvey going to do it?
Yeah, he's going for it on Yannick Schmidt. Then into turn 1. He's going to be side by side with him into turn 2. Yannick on the inside. Harvey on the outside as they come down into the left hill. The left downhill left-hander downhill. Let me get my words out. But Harvey, we're still trying to stick it in there, but Yannick defends it well and still keeps that position of 3rd. Amazing drawing between these two. Harvey I think he might be. Oh, I think he might be looking to pit soon. Get through on
Yeah, it's gotta.
Yannick and then pit. Also, that was Harlan a little bit wide there down at turn 5. But that was a brave battle between those two down at turn 2. These two driving tremendously in this race, Harvey and Yannick. But when they're going to pit, surely it's going to be soon. Harvey will probably be one of the first to go for the pit. Tom Martinez has left the session now. But still, Daniel Nelson leads. And I don't think it'll be enough, though, for him to lead the championship. I think it'll be enough to get him at least within 15 points of Harvey, if the results end like this. If Harvey wins this, it'll be bravo to him. But like I said earlier, any of the top 5 can win this race so far. You know, we haven't mentioned Gianpietro, but he's still in it. You know, he's still there with them. And none pitting yet. 22 laps in.
The tyres are screaming for mercy at this point.
They definitely are. As we enter the 23rd lap of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Daniel Janssen leading, followed by Harlan Marquis in P2. The top 4, all the same as it was in qualifying. Is it a no stop? I was just baiting. Oh, clever from Yona. So no one's going to pit. But then again, is he baiting us again by saying it's a no stop? We don't know.
Well, they've got to stop, haven't they? They're a rule.
It depends. I don't think they have. No, not on the wets. As long as you can tries get to the end, you can stay out.
Hello,
spin. That is Nicola Leda. Don't think it's damage, but it's definitely a spin down at the exit turn 1 there.
Yeah, spin, no damage.
But still keeping on the back of Harvey Cohen. Actually, we'll move to someone else. We'll move to Leroy Brown. We haven't seen much of him this race. Started 12th, moved up to 8th, so he's in the points. We'll get 4 points if he finishes the race as it is there in 8th. His teammate down in 14th, so not ideal from for Tenerife. And you can see the tyres have really started not to use. Tony's tyres were really quick on the first few laps, so you can see now they're starting to just feed into the rest of the pace of the others now. They're not having much of an influence in terms of pace. Leroy on the back of Cameron, and Cameron, we haven't seen much of him this race either, have we?
No, we haven't.
Chilling in 7th. Alpine finishing 5th and 7th. They're having another great race today. Really great from those guys.
And the race leader is still staying the same, but Harlem's closing down towards turn number 1. Daniel goes defensive, and Harlem is the closest he's been so far in this race. Can he find a way through? Because Harvey's going to stay in 4th position. Race lead may end up changing.
No, it won't. Harlem stays behind, still just not close enough to get a move. You can see into turn 1, Daniel defended absolutely perfect. Yeah. So there's just no way Harlan can benefit there. There's no way he can get overtaken to turn 2. So it's just then about Daniel just keeping it steady into these corners now. And it's going to be very difficult for Harlan to get through if he wants to win. It's possible, of course it's possible, but it's going to be difficult for him.
Well, they've just got to find the time and find the pace and just hope that we get a slipstream run. 24 laps as well. If Yona was just baiting it and there's no pit stops in this race on the top 5 drivers who've been in contention throughout, then that is worrying.
Most likely going to be the top 5 order.
Yeah.
If they all finish on the same time, so it's going to be very difficult to make an overtake. You can see Harlem and Daniel and Yannick and Harvey are the main battles here. 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th.
Have been all race.
Definitely, and I think they will. Any chance to see tyre wear?
I can't see the tyre wear.
I can't see tyre wear, but I can see the laps of the front guys.
23 lap holds on for everybody. Basically, no one stopped yet. Nobody has stopped.
Unless I can see tyre wear, I wasn't aware I could, but let me know if I can. But I'm not sure I can. Oh, Harlem, up the inside. Oh, there's a bit of contact there between Daniel and Harlem down at turn 1. Luckily, no harm done just yet. So Daniel keeps the lead, going into turn 2 now. So that was close between those two. Harlem broke a bit late, touched the rear of Daniel, sent Daniel a little bit wide. Luckily, Daniel could readjust and keep the lead so far. So, no changes there.
They're going to try and swing through on the inside line. Harlem was having the opportunity. He wants to let Daniel know he's there. He wants to start putting pressure on him with 11 laps to go, including the one we're on. And can Daniel just hold the pressure together? I'm surprised Harvey's not there, actually, to fly through.
But he's still keeping him within 3/10 of Yannick. Just 2/10 now. This is...
And he's dropped back again.
See, I can see Harvey wanting to make some more risky moves. into the
wants the
final few
podium.
laps. But the thing is, it's not worth doing it now, because if he makes a move now, then Yannick could possibly make one in the future. So if he leaves it till the last few laps and then makes a move, he isn't going to risk it happening again. And if he's not careful, it's going to also allow Gianpietro, in case there's a bit of an incident with those two.
Yeah, just slip
Harvey
up the
and Yannick.
inside, yeah.
Well,
here we go again.
Down to turn 1 for the 26th time this session. We've got just under 10 laps to go. This race has actually gone very quick.
Oh, Harvey!
Yep, sending
Did
it.
throw it on the... Yeah, not going to do it.
He sent it,
Oh,
and
they touch.
he's keeping it in. He's going to be on the outside again. Yannick up the inside like there was last time about 4 or 5 laps ago. Harvey's going to take it around the outside. Yannick yet again defending hard. Harvey's a lot closer than he was last lap. Into turn 3, he's got the inside line. Bit of contact. They keep it side by side still. Coming up into turn 4 now. Harvey around the outside into turn 4. Is he close enough to get it? He's still got to keep it in there. Into turn 5 up the inside. Harvey comes, is he going to get it? It's close.
Yes. Oh, Yannick staying there on the outside. They're still side by side to the chicane. What is going on? He's lost out. Yannick stays in 3rd. Harvey trying to go on the outside, and he's got it. Here comes Gianpietro.
That was absolutely amazing from Harvey Cohen there. What a move. The whole lap. He was sticking it in all the way through turn 2, turn 3 and turn 4. Superb battling between those two, but it's also brought Gianpietro into the mix now. And Simon Lekomsky. They could be looking for a 4th position possibly here. But we can see Gianpietro's still on the back of Yannick Schmidt now. Harvey's lost 1.5 seconds now to the back of Harlem, so he's got a lot of work to do to get back within the 1 second of those, but he's into the podium positions now. And I think for Harvey, that's all that matters right now. But is Gianpietro able to get a move on Yannick Schmidt? You can see Harvey just moving over to the right there. I thought he had a bit of a snap up.
He's trying to stop that aero defense, isn't he? Because he's only on 1%. He's on 0% of ERS. He used it all on that previous lap time, so he's going to become incredibly vulnerable. And now you can see the train. He's 1.2 seconds back. No ERS power, no DRS available. Tires dying every 2 seconds. Yeah. So that's it. The top 2 can now afford to scrap out for the race win.
Pretty much. But look, Harlem's dropped 8 tenths now, so he's got a bit of time to gain if he wants to charge for a win. Simon Lekomsky on the back of Gianpietro Giano, looking for a top 5. Cameron Dave's also in this little battle now between 4th and 12th at this point, because obviously Lars has got the penalty, so he's not really in much of a contention for points.
Way out of it.
But yeah, still on board with Simon Lekomsky. Cameron Dave's gaining a little bit of time, just 3 tenths behind him now, as they come through in towards the Mickey Mouse section, as you like to call it, Josh. I don't know if that's actually the name of it, but I like the name. It works well.
It hasn't really got a name, that section of the circuit. That's what I usually call it in the watch-alongs.
Look at this here. Harvey, he's gained 5 tenths on the top, guys. In the last lap. It was 1.5 seconds going into turn 1 originally. Coming into turn 13, it's just over 9 tenths. So, you know, Harvey's definitely got a lot of pace in the bag still to feed through. Back to Cameron Dowd. He's the closest of all the top 9. Just 4 tenths behind some of the Lekomsky to come out at the final corner, down towards turn 1. It's been a bit of an unfortunate race, really, in terms of battling. We haven't seen much. With it being wet, obviously, and it being around Hungary, there's not really much people can do here. But it's been interesting in terms of what people are trying to do, in terms of battling. Harvey, he did have that one battle with Yannick. We can give him that. That was a really nice one. Yeah. I don't think we'll see much more of that this race at all. We've got, 7 laps to go of this race. Daniel's still leading. As in every lap so far. Harlem's staying in P2 every lap so far. Also, we had a spin up. That's Lars Butterman down at turn 2. We'll go on board with him quickly. And we can see, there he is, getting back on track. So he's obviously just lost it, all locked up at turn 2. Harlem just 3 tenths behind Daniel Yeltsin now as they come through turn 7. And
Harvey's back caught up again.
Yes, he has.
This is, again, more racing.
It is.
I want to say this is going to be the good part, but we've been tricked too many times in this race, haven't we, Richie?
We have. It's a bit of false hope, I think, so far.
Yeah.
Looking for another move. Harvey, though, 5 tenths behind, so he could get involved, theoretically, here, this race.
Could still do, yeah. It's not got that much left of it.
Yep,
the last 2 corners.
Yep, the gap to leader. Obviously, first to 18th. It's 29 seconds. That's not too bad, considering people have pitted as well. On board with Harlan Marcus now. He's coming out turn 14. 4 tenths, just over. It's not close enough for him to get a move, and it's not close enough for Harvey to gain too much, but he's gained... Well, Harlan's actually gained a little bit of time there. He's gained a 10th. coming down that main straight. I'm going to go back to
And
the
Harlem.
interval time.
Harlem Marquez had a twitch coming out of turn 14 as well, so just lost the straight line speed down towards turn number 1.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done about it. Daniel Jensen's now just got to keep calm for the remaining few laps, and he's got the race in the bag.
Yeah, but look
this has not. It's been. It's had its moments, but this hasn't really been that exciting, dramatic. But then again, we can't always have them. It's been a chess game, this one.
It has. We're still watching Harvey though. Look at that gap. He's going down to 2/10 now to Harlem. So Harvey's got mega pace, and you never know. He could be on for a. Well, I suppose if you count sprint races as a win, he could be on for a quadruple win here. 4 wins in a row, or normal race wins, he could be on for 3 in a row at least.
There wasn't any points for the sprint, I noticed.
There was. It was just, it wasn't on the timing. He was on the sheets.
Ah, okay.
Tony's in the train with the new tyres. He's indeed. But he's got to make sure we can get through on the train. You know, if you can't get on the train, it's not really going to help him. Obviously, yeah, he's moved back up positions. But
and the 15-lap old tyres still, they are going to be quicker, but not by that much.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Harvey, 4.5 tenths behind Harlem, and Harlem. The gap between Harvey and Harlem seems to stick the same, and sometimes it seems to sit the exact same with Harlem and Daniel. As they come out of turn 14, 3 tenths is the gap now between Harlem and Harvey. This is not too good for Harlem at all as they come into turn 1. Bit of a dummy move up the inside there. Looked for it, didn't make the move though.
I tell you one thing though, Harvey's got to get past Harlem ASAP because he's got a shot at the win. And I don't think Marquez is going to get ahead of Jensen at all in this race. He's had his opportunities, he hasn't got through. Harvey, on the other hand, can start to make pushing happen, and he's timed it to perfection when to attack in this race if it was not going to be a pit stop at all.
Yeah. He was 10th when he pitted. He's got to get himself back into 10th. Bogdan,
yeah, up to 17th. That's great.
Nicola allowed of that. Down at turn 2. Let's watch these two for a bit, see if we have any more battling. I don't think we will, because we missed all the good battling, but yep, that's Bogdan into 17th.
That was a turn 1 slipstream, yeah.
Who's on the back of Harlem Marquez again? What a surprise! You know, we haven't really said much apart from Daniel, Harlem, Harvey, and Yannick this race.
No, it's been a long 30 laps.
It has indeed. We're the final 25% of the race, and actually probably the final 15% of the race. We've got 5 laps remaining, and well, 4 laps after this one. And we could see, you know, Harvey, he might want to look for a move on Harlem. He's got the pace to do it. He's just got to be able to show he can get it right. Harlem makes a mistake, makes it even easier. But sometimes he drops a little bit of pace, and you can see there he's lost a 10th. 2 tenths coming out of that final corner there on Harlem. Whereas next lap he could gain 2 tenths on Harlem, but he's just got to make sure it's the correct 2 tenths at the correct time. Otherwise it's not going to work too well. You can see Yannick there's gained a little bit on Harvey, just 3 tenths between those two now. So Harvey obviously losing a little bit of time coming out of that final corner, not benefiting too well. We'll go and have a look at Tony Richet, who's currently on the back of Mark Schluter as they come through in towards turn 3 now. If it's worked out how he could possibly make some moves. We'll just have to see if he's brave enough to do so as he goes into turn 4. Obviously not going to make a move there, but we could see some in towards possibly maybe the chicane if he's got enough traction on the exit here on these new tyres. I doubt
we saw an outside manoeuvre earlier on in the race.
We
so
did.
It's possible.
With, Harlem and Harvey and Yannick. That was then at turn 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's fantastic how long they stayed side by side for.
It was
in that race.
But still sticking on board with Tony. You can see he's got a little bit more grip on these tyres. Obviously, they're a lot newer than everyone else's tyres. I think they're about half the age of the top 12's tyres. So
they are, yeah.
You know,
30 laps.
Just has Tony got the pace himself to be able to push through? Because you can see, you know, it's hard to overtake. If it was somewhere, maybe similar to Silverstone, it'd be a lot easier to make an overtake. But because it's here, Hungary, in the dry, it's difficult. Never mind in the wet. So
Austria, he would be leading for sure.
Well,
that type of track.
Yeah, all depends. Yannick Schmidt on the back of Harvey going down into turn 1. Just 2.5 tenths between those two. Harvey's starting to come under a bit of pressure from Yannick now. Could Yannick look to take that P3 back? You never know. Little Lars Butman in the pit lane now, which is unfortunate for him. He'll come out.
I think that's for a new set of tyres. Yes, it is. Not for retirement. That's good.
No, he could come out. Well, he'll come out behind Nicola.
Yeah, he does. Stays outside. Nicola down in 18th position. Yeah, and Nicola goes ahead. So Lars down into 18th position at the moment.
Big shame for Lars.
He's got a second now, Jetta nearly. Well, he's closing down now. He's made an error coming out of turn 6. But I think this is the finishing result, Richie. I think they're all happy with it.
It could be, but the question is, mistakes can happen. Not the question. The question, no, statement is, mistakes can happen in the next couple of laps, and a mistake can lose you 3 or 4 tenths. That could lose you a pole position. So it's just about who's got the pace to be able to make a move at the moment. I think, you know, we said at start, right, Harvey's got the pace to make a move and Harlan was looking for it, but now you can see he's dropping off a little bit, 8 tenths. So, you know, is he able to gain enough in time to catch up? Yannick's also starting to gain, and also you're going to think the tyres will be dying as well now. So they'll start to lose a grip. It's not going to be as easy to make an overtake anywhere on the track.
Question to Yona in the chat as well, Yona. Are these tyres going to explode? Can they run 100% on them?
Surely they can. Surely.
I hope so. But we've seen many punctures.
Oh, no, not Yona, but I'm just saying I'm sure they can get to the end.
Yes, yeah. We've seen our punctures, haven't we, Richie, in closing stages of eSport races in the past couple of weeks.
We have, especially at Silverstone. I forgot where that was now. And we also had it at Kota, round 2, here at WOR. So we've had lots and lots of punctures. It's tight on the tyre wear, so...
Yeah, thought so. I'm seeing a lot of lifting, that's why.
It's going to be a close one. Really is, especially between these top 5.
Depends on how you save tyres. I could go over 75%.
Well, that's not exactly ideal at all. Because I'm sure
I want to see the tyre wear graphic on future games.
It'd be nice. I think it's a random graphic, isn't it? Sometimes you can get. I've had it once or twice in the past at the start of the game. So yeah, it's just about being lucky, I suppose, to get that graphic. But you really expect EA to give us something we want. You can see the tyres are dying now because look, everyone's starting to create bigger gaps. Harlan dropping off 1.1 seconds to Daniel. Harvey 8 tenths. Yannick, though, however, still kept within 5 tenths to Harvey, so he's not doing too bad.
Look at Tony Richet. He's closing in on Marcel Schrotter as well, so this could start to get up the field.
It could.
But with 2 to go, it's possible he could get into the top 8, Richie, with the gaps between everyone.
It just depends
what
happens.
They all have to start lifting.
We've got 2 laps left of the race. This is the penultimate lap. Tony, though, he's in 13th, but look, he's done what I said he might.
Yeah,
the thing is, he's done what I said he might, which is not get through on anyone, even though he's pitted onto newer tyres. He can't make the overtake, so it's all good being on better tyres, but if you can't get the move, there's no point, because he's going to be stuck down in 13th.
Do you reckon this would be better or in the dries compared to the wets, because they have DRS?
Everyone all of a sudden starts to get punctures, which I don't think everyone will. Maybe we'll have one at a rare chance, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll keep on Tony for now because there's nothing that interesting going on anywhere else. Tony's the only one with a real chance of making anything dramatic happen so far in the final parts of the race. Obviously, you can see Yannick within 4 tenths of Harvey within 7 tenths of Harlan. So that's about it, really. And as long as Daniel keeps his 1.5 second gap, he's pretty much sorted for the second win of the season, which would be really nice for him. Winning round 2, he'll be winning round 5. So it'll break Harvey's streak as well of 3. Count it as 2 in terms of 50% races. Coming into turn 12 now, on the back of Tony Richet. Still, you know, he's not able to get close up to Mark to get a move at all. But he's going to have to make it sooner or later if he wants to get it. We're going to go back to Yannick Schmidt. He's starting to gain a little bit on Harvey Cohen now. 3-4 tenths is the gap between those two. The final lap of the race. So it can all be down to this now.
Oh,
who's
Yannick
going to be brave enough?
He thought about that move, didn't he, to turn 1? But backed off against it.
Oof. He thought about nearly going into the back of Harvey then into 2, and that was close between those two. But I think you might be right. This might be the finishing for the top 4. Daniel, Harlan, Harvey, Yannick. But we'll have to see if anyone gets mistakes on the last few corners or punctures. You don't know. You never know. Because I think when it gets over 70%, it's more of an RNG thing if you'll get a puncture or not. So you're just going to be lucky.
I'm remembering Damon Hill, 1997, losing on the last lap in the Arrows here in Hungary to Jacques Villeneuve because a 50p washer failed.
Really?
Yes. An 50p washer on the oil line failed, and he lost the race on the last lap in the 97 Arrows.
But we're still keeping on board with Harvey, because he's actually gained on Harlem a little bit. Harlem's lost lots of time to the back of Daniel. 2 seconds between those two now as they come through. Oh, Harvey! Oh, that was close.
What?
Has he got a puncture?
No, I think he just got caught on the curb and lost out a lot of time.
But Daniel just coming through turn 13 now. As he comes into the final corner for the final time of this race, 35 laps complete, led every single lap. Daniel Jeltsin comes round the final corner to win the Hungarian Grand Prix, takes his second win of the season. Harlan Marquis will come round to take a P2. What happened there with Harvey? Comes on P3, but Harlan taking his first P2, his first podium of the season so far, if I get that correctly, in Harvey. P3, and that's... someone's binned it down. That was a Red Bull, that's Leroy Redfish in 8th, but yep. Yannick takes 4th. It was an interesting near the end.
Well, that was domination from Daniel Jensen. Really well done to keep the pressure and handle that.
Yeah.
And that was a great win. And in the end, pulling 2.3, that was fantastic. Well done.
You definitely can't say no to that, and I don't think he will be saying no to that. He'll definitely agree with that race. Couldn't have worked out any better for him. It did. It has indeed. You can see it. Yannick finishing 4th. But that was it was interesting. It was more of a psychological race. There was not much physical action, but mentally you're like, right, what's going to happen? You know, people are going to get punches, or people are going to be stupid enough to pit, people are going to make, you know what I mean? It's all psychological, race was, more than physical action. But still, we've got to remember that move between Harvey and who is it now? Yannick. If there's any way that can go into the overtake of the week thing with Veloce, he's definitely got to submit that clip, because it'll definitely get itself into the top 3 there. That was amazing.
Side by side for 2 sectors. Brilliant.
An Alfa Romeo, a Haas, and a McLaren taking the podium. Obviously, Daniel Jeltsin taking his 2nd win so far this season. Couldn't have gone any better for him, really. Won by 2.3. 2.3 seconds. And Harvey comes on in 7th, moving up to 3rd. Really good race from Harvey. Yannick lost the position, was looking for a podium for most of the race, and he was looking to get it back on the final lap, because Harvey had a big snap coming out of turn 11. I thought he had a puncture at one point, because he was nearly in the wall. But yeah, really nice from Daniel Jeltsin there, taking his 2nd win of the season in the Alfa Romeo. And if anyone's in here speaking to the drivers, let them know that interviews are open. So if you want to come for an interview, let us know. Get yourself in the waiting for interview room, and we'll get you in very, very quickly. So Josh, if you wouldn't mind,
I have the ability to drag as well.
If you could just send a quick message into them, if you don't mind.
Yep, on it.
Let's get everything
back. What a race result there that was. Well done. 2.51 minutes, Richie. 51.46.
It was a long one, indeed. Come back to our intuition screen.
There we are. Back.
We did feel it as well. My throat's dead as well. I was commentating on a league last night, an AC league, and my throat was dead because that was a 1-hour endurance race. I was dead by the time that ended.
At least it'll get us match fit for Formula Ones starting soon and testing.
Yes,
I've just made all the graphics for this year, because I've changed them as well. Just and a new intro as well. You've seen the intro, Richie, haven't you? I sent that in.
I think I have. If not, you have to send it to me. I'll have to have a look in a bit.
I'll send it back. Yeah, but yeah, so it's looking fantastic. I used game footage from the F1 and uploaded it.
Oh, sorry. Wrong button. I clicked leave.
You've ditched me. Oh, I stopped talking. Okay, Daniel Jensen. I'll hand him over to you, Richie.
Daniel, welcome in. You muted.
Hello.
There you go. That couldn't have gone any better, could have it? Really, amazing race.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the race. And quali as well went my way. I went full wet, or not full wet, but intermediate like setup.
Yeah.
In the quali, so I was a bit gutted with the restart. But I managed to get a good lap even on the wet setup. So yeah, pole position. Yeah, I mean, most of the race I just tried to save tires to the end to make the zero stop work, and I managed to do that well. So I had some extra tire life at the end. So last 5 laps I was pushing, and got the rest.
Obviously, according to the final few laps, was your tyre wear? Was it an issue, or was it just like you can get to the end easily on them?
Obviously, puncture territory isn't 75%. So I was saving tires so I would end on 70%. So I had like 5 extra cents in hand, so that was what I used. But I only used up to 71% in the end. So yeah. Tires were, you could say, fine, even though they were worn. But my pace was obviously very good at the end, so
Yeah.
yeah, I was happy with that.
Obviously, taking your second win, do you think? Well, obviously, I think you're definitely in fight for the championship, but do you think you've got a chance of winning it? Obviously, against Harvey. Harvey's a really good driver as well. So, you think you're in a chance for it?
Yeah, obviously that's my goal. And yeah, other than Baku, I've finished on the podium, I think, every race. So I'm hoping to keep that trend going, and yeah, hopefully score more wins and podiums, and yeah, hopefully it's going to be enough to get the championship. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, anything?
How on earth did you manage to keep those tyres alive for the entire race without pitting? That must have been seriously close on the tyre wear.
Yeah, well, I was kind of just saving pretty much like the first 30 laps. So the 5 last laps I was pushing to pull away, but yeah, I was just making sure I was not locking up or wheel spinning out of the corners and just taking it very easy. And yeah, there was at some point I had to defend from Harlem behind, but I managed to do it and held him off.
Brings you back into the title now as well. You're going to go for that with the remaining 8 races?
Yeah, definitely. That is my target to do.
Fantastic. I'll hand back over to you, Richie.
Thank you. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Daniel. We'll see you next week for which track is it? Do you remember? Because I don't.
I don't know.
It's not looking good. The calendar. There we go. We're at Portugal. Do you like Portugal?
I mean, it's gonna be interesting. It's not my favorite track, but I'm gonna practice a lot for that, and like I did for Hungary, this one, and hopefully that's gonna pay off with good results.
Yeah. But anyway, thanks, Daniel, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. So have a good
Yeah,
one.
see you next week.
So
See
we
you
are,
later.
Josh. It's done. Over. Oh, let me get you back on the proper screen yet again. Sharing the
Well,
Discord.
I'll tell you one thing, Richie, as well. It was a psychological race.
Yeah.
But the wet, no DRS around Hungary, it wasn't always going to be a thriller, but somehow the guys still managed to give us some interesting racing to talk about. Well
Definitely.
done.
It was definitely getting a bit more tiring towards the end, but
Yes, it was.
in general, it wasn't too bad for a wet race around Hungary. You could have definitely had a lot more worse races for the drivers, especially the ones in the mid pack. I don't think they enjoyed it too much, as they didn't really do much in terms of overtaking or defending. It was just more staying behind the car in front, which was simple for them to do. Hence why not many people made positions. I mean, even the top 5, they barely made any positions. I think Harvey was the only one really to get up.
Yeah. Move up.
Move up at all. Obviously, Gianpietro lost position, same as I think it was Yannick. Obviously, he started 3rd, dropped into 4th. So, it was more as when you got over halfway, you can start to see, right, these guys will be the ones finishing in the top. These will be finishing at the bottom. It's a lot easier to kind of predict the results. But yeah, it wasn't the worst. But we look over to Hungary next, Portugal next week. We'll click calendar now, actually. So we have Portugal, which should be an all right track. You can see lots of drivers struggle there. If it's raining, it's going to be hell for many drivers. Then we go off to France, a track we don't really see in league racing that much, is it? Really, it's kind of just pops in.
It's weird.
He pops in here every now and then. Then we have Bahrain, pretty iconic track. Most leagues race there every season. Then Saudi Arabia, which will also be one of the other sprint races. So that'll be interesting for the drivers. Then we have Abu Dhabi, Imola, China, which is one of the tracks that we don't actually race at for the past 3 years. And it's on the calendar here. So that's an interesting one. Then we have Britain and Austria that end it out. I definitely didn't think Britain and Austria would be the last 2 tracks, but they are. As we end it off on
Austria's
April.
a season finale is going to be interesting as well as a short track. That's going to be fun.
You're going to think this is the 13th of Feb now. The season will be over by the 24th of April, so we haven't got that long, and we still got, 8, 9 races left of the season?
A lot of races, yeah. That's going to be quite fun to see, and I look forward to at least being able to hop in for at least 2 of those, looking at that in the com box. It's going to be fun. Maybe we'll have to convince as well the bosses above to have a 3-com rule at some point, because there's some of those I want to hop in for.
Well, yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us again. It's been nice to have lots of people in the chat. And we'll see you next week for Portugal. It should be a great race then. So keep tuned. Obviously, you got this Sunday, I believe, it's been cancelled. I'm not sure about the Tier 1. I'm not sure if it's cancelled this week or not, because I know there was a bit of change with the calendar. So either it will be this week or it'll be next week. I don't know. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and it's a goodbye from me and Josh.
Bye bye. Bye bye.